we started with nothing in humble beginnings. They wanna fuck with me now cause I'm winning. Chasing this chicken cause I'm on a mission. I'm known for get money and standing on business. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Keep that shit coming, they know how we living. Come from the struggle, got lost in the hustle. Straight out the mud, no I compliment couples. Chasing big bills just to keep this shit subtle. You ain't on my team if you wasn't in the huddle. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Keep that shit coming, they know that I'm with it. I fit the description, I'm the definition. I'm what they prescribe like she seen a physician. She wanna ride cause she seen how we getting it. Big old booty, she my passenger princess. She like to argue, she don't like to listen. She bougie and toxic, she fine and she picky. Pretty and sedated, she get recognition. Matching nails and toes, man, she always French tip 'em. Parking lot pimping when we in the city. Don't ask her about twine, she twerk on the engine. She eat the dick in the car cause it's tennis. She pay me attention like she get commission. Pimpin' CEO, so I give her the business. She ride on the dick like she doing some fitness. She make the dick disappear like she magician. She like to swallow, man, she love when I finish. Having motion, man, you know I got plenty. Bitches choosing cause they know that I'm winning. Seen some thousands, now I'm after some millions. So all my houses come with chandelier ceilings. Pillow talking, man, that shit just ain't in me. Keep it pimpin', I can't do no pretending. Jealous hearted, man, you know I ain't with it. Cuffin' hoes, I can't do no commit. No, we started with nothing in humble beginnings. They wanna fuck with me now cause I'm winning. Chasing this chicken cause I'm on a mission. I'm known for get money and standing on business. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Keep that shit coming, they know how we living. Come from the struggle, got lost in the hustle. Straight out the mud, no I compliment couples. Chasing big bills just to keep this shit subtle. You ain't on my team if you wasn't in the huddle. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Chasing this chicken, I ran up a ticket. Keep that shit coming, they know that I'm with it.
What we doing tonight, chat? Double tap that screen, shut her live out. What we doing tonight, chat? Y'all locked? We in intro mode.
I'm a saint, but I sin. I checked in the game, and when I left, she loving me again. I let her cry out the bins, and they say time here. I still feel like it was yesterday. How we're moving fast, probably too fast to even catch the play. Spent the night, she pack a bag, right to me, just getting gas. Cover bag, I want it bad. I'ma touch it first. He the last, it's temporary. Holly damn emotion said it's temporary. My pain deeper than the ocean. Temporary feelings mixed with temporary pleasures. All these temporary moments and these temporary treasures. Temporary circumstances to temporary measures. Temporary friends and even temporary schedules. Temporary smiles and temporary goals. Temporary women sliding on temporary poles. Temporary comments and temporary trolls. I just pray that God bless me. Ain't no temporary souls. I'm a saint, but I sin. I checked in the game, and when I left, she loving me again. I let her cry out the bins, and they say time here. I still feel like it was yesterday. How we're moving fast, probably too fast to even catch the play. Spent the night, she pack a bag, right to me, just getting gas. Cover bag, I want it bad. I'ma touch it first. He the last, it's temporary. Holly damn emotion said it's temporary. My pain deeper than the ocean.
Smart founders know something most people.
What we doing tonight, chat? Double tap that screen, shut her live out. What we doing tonight, chat? Y'all locked, man? Y'all locked away. Hold on, chat. Let me get us to the right shit, man. Let me get us to the right shit going on, bro.
The New York Times is reporting.
Right. Double tap that screen, shut her live out, chat. We in intro mode. Well, intro mode is over. Where is the tag, man? Where is the tag? Double tap that screen, shut her live out, chat. Hold on.
Welcome to the greatest damn show on YouTube.
There we go. That sound about right. Hold on.
Welcome to the greatest damn show on YouTube.
Oh, man. Double tap the screen, shut her live out. What we doing tonight, chat? Double tap the screen, shut her live out. What we doing tonight, chat? They saying Trump wins on mail-in voter data. Affordability crisis. We got Cenk versus Kevin Oleary, and we got Candace sitting down with Anna Kasparian, man. Double tap that screen, shut her live out, chat. Anonymous says one day he'll get a miter inch. Most definitely Anonymous. Double tap that screen. What's up, Dorsey, OG Dave, Purple Groovy, Big Niche, hey girl. What's up, Laurie? H-Buster in the building, man. What we doing? What's up, Bridget? I see you in here early and often, man. Double tap that screen, shut a live out, chat. We got an action-packed episode, man. Let's get straight into the rundown. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent held a briefing today. If we got time, we'll get into that. An ex-CIA officer is what we're going to come in first talking about. Had got caught with $40 million worth of gold bars, $2 million in cash, and 36 Rolex watches. But that gold could be tied to Fort Knox is what they're saying. They're saying that they wanted to audit Fort Knox. Trump said he was going to audit it. Doge was supposed to audit it. Doge was disbanded. And now this guy is caught with 300 gold bars totaling $40 million. A cop who had loud sex with a judge in the chambers has been ID'd as deputy chief with the Atlanta Police Department. Yeah, a judge got caught banging in the judge's chambers, and they say they were doing it loudly. Neither one of them have lost their job. This situation is still developing. According to the leading report, according to the analysis of BLS data, foreign-born workers have accounted for more than half of the U.S. labor force growth since 2007. A federal judge declined to block Trump executive order directing USPS to only deliver mail ballots to individuals on DHS-compiled citizenship lists, calling the challenge premature. So Trump wants everybody that wants to mail in vote, you got to register, you got to be, basically give up your voter data, and USPS will only deliver mail-in ballots to those who are on that DHS-compiled citizenship list. And a judge is saying, hey, man, we're not going to rule on that. We're not going to block that because it's too premature. Candace Owens sat down with Anna Kasparian. I told y'all that Pam Bondi's interview about the Epstein child trafficking network cover-up will take place behind closed doors and will not be recorded. How do you guys feel about that? Do you feel like it should be recorded? Do you feel like it should not be recorded? Is it a sham? Is it a scam? Pam Bondi's testimony over the Epstein cover-up will take place behind closed doors and will not be recorded, similar to Howard Lutnick's testimony, I believe. Iran's IRGC Navy carried out a missile attack on 4 vessels attempting to bypass the Strait of Hormuz without IRGC coordination, including an American vessel, per ILNA. Diary of a CEO had an emergency debate between Cenk and Kevin O'Leary about the Iran war, AI, and more. We'll get into that for sure later on. A patent for flock cameras, U.S. patent 11416-545B1 from August 16, 2022. It's saying basically that the flock cameras can detect pedestrians and bicyclists all the way down to clothing and height, weight, color of clothing. The system also has an auto alert and it detects a target with high confidence. So those are what the flock cameras are doing according to the patents. Also, regretful cities are covering up their flock cameras with black trash bags because they cannot figure out how to immediately exit the surveillance contracts or get the cameras taken down. A couple of those cities are Dayton, Ohio, and Evanstown, Illinois. Peter Thiel has temporarily relocated his family to Argentina, enrolled his children there, bought property, partly due to Thiel's concerns about the United States' future. That's according to the New York Times. New reports reveals the Trump admin used $67 million of national park entrance fees to fund Trump's projects in D.C. This included a painting of the reflecting pool, which he gave a MAGA contractor $7 million allegedly for. There will be no central bank digital currency under President Trump, according to Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. A new AI consultant reveals a client accidentally spent $500 million in a single month after failing to set employee limits on Claude usage. Claude tax that ass. That's crazy. That is crazy. Also, the Trump administration is floating the idea of making a $250 bill featuring President Trump. That's according to the Washington Post. If this is launched, President Trump will be the first living person to appear on a $250 bill. And I'm just going to be honest with you, chat. That's never good. When they start issuing larger denominations of currency, that's never good. That's normally due to hyperinflation, having to handle large amounts of transactions. It's basically like Zimbabwe, man. They start making these, eventually we'll have a fucking $10,000 bill. Everybody's in uproar because Trump's trying to put his face on it. He'd be the first living person to appear on a U.S. currency since 1866. But the real problem is, why is it a $250 bill? That's the real problem. Why is it a $250 bill? The currency's deflated. 40% of the currency was printed during COVID. How home prices are up 40%. Interest rates are up double. Why are we printing a $250 bill? That is the question, chat. Double tap that screen, shut a live out. We got to get to 100 likes off the rip, chat. Let's get to 100 likes right here, right now. Double tap that screen for me. We're also 25 subscribers away from the next sub goal. No, we ain't got a $10,000 bill already. We don't got that, Anonymous. Not in current circulation. Double tap that screen. Let's get to 100 likes right quick, chat. I need y'all to help me hit the like goals. We have not been hitting the like goals. I don't know what's going on with y'all. What's up, Derek? We're also 20 subscribers away from the next sub goal. Let's get into this CIA agent that ran away with $40 million in gold bars. They're saying this could be the Fort Knox gold, man. This could be some of the Fort Knox gold.
The New York Times is reporting on what is just a stunning arrest of a CIA official after investigators found hundreds of gold bars worth more than $40 million stashed in his Virginia home. The CIA and FBI say the arrest...
Do y'all think, a lot of people are saying that this is a ploy? They're saying that Fort Knox does not have the gold. They've ransacked, pillaged Fort Knox. The gold is not there. And this is a soft launch to get the American people ready to realize the gold is not there. The 10 trillion in gold that's supposed to be there is not there. This guy had 300 bars, $40 million. He was in the CIA with sham documents for 20 years. He had $2 million cash, 36 Rolex watches, and he had 300 bars of gold. They're getting ready to tell us the gold's not at Fort Knox. Doge wanted to investigate it. Trump said he was going to investigate it. They disbanded Doge, and now this guy's caught with 300 damn gold bars worth $40 million. How far is this corruption? How widespread is this corruption? Is the gold actually there? I don't think so.
Occurred last week after the agency alerted the FBI about potential violations of the law. And according to court documents, the official, who is identified as David Rush, asked for and received a significant quantity of foreign currency and tens of millions of dollars in gold bars for work-related expenses in recent months. When agents searched Rush's home, they found approximately 303 gold bars, each of which weighed a kilogram, approximately 2 pounds. And investigators also seized $2 million in American currency and nearly 3 dozen luxury watches, many of them Rolexes. I'll note that a lawyer for Mr. Rush declined to comment to the Times, and a woman answering the phone at Mr. Rush's house hung up on a Times reporter. Former Deputy Director of National Intelligence Beth Sanner is back with me. So many questions here, so many gold bars, but what kind of circumstances does the CIA hand out hundreds of gold bars to an officer for?
Well, I can't say it ever happened to me, having been an analyst.
You don't have any gold bars?
I don't, and I never, But, you know, when you're in the operations side and you're operating in denied areas, so one that's very public and lots of people's cleared memoirs is going into Afghanistan at the beginning of going after Osama bin Laden. And CIA officers went in with millions and millions of dollars on their person. And so, you know, this is something that you do when you're working in denied areas. you know, you can look around the world. You might have said maybe Venezuela at that point in time, maybe Yemen, maybe Nigeria, places in the Middle East, maybe still Afghanistan. We don't know. But there are legitimate reasons for a case officer to have these items. You might want to give a gold watch out to an asset to either recruit them or to reward them. You need
maybe not
cash.
30, but maybe not 30.
You know, you got a lot of assets.
Yeah, that's right. So there's so much here, the web, right? He's accused of lying about his qualifications as well over the years. The Times says that he inflated his academic credentials and falsely claimed to be a member of the Navy Reserve when he was discharged and then collected pay for that. How does the CIA, of all organizations, miss that?
Okay, so when I looked through the affidavit, two things came to mind. One is that the guy's a pathological liar, and I'm not a psychologist, so I don't know if that's true. So I'm trying not to slander anybody, but that's how I would read it. You know, and
That he's different than than most of the population
yeah, I mean the definition
for how they'd represent themselves
the definition
and get
of
away
a
with it.
pathological liar is someone who lies and, you know, makes these kind of knowing lies, things that can be found out, but has so much confidence and truly believes what they're telling you. And so therefore, you can pass a polygraph if you're a pathological liar because you truly believe what you're saying is correct.
Because physiologically, they're not
won't
giving
react.
off the things that a polygraph would pick up.
You're not sweating when you're lying.
Because how,
You're not breathing heavily. You believe it.
would he have been polygraphed when he started? I mean,
Yeah,
you
you
think
would
he
be
would have
polygraphed-
passed multiple or what?
Multiple. He was in for
Really?
17 years. So, yeah, I mean, he
Damn, it's less gold in Fort Knox than I thought. They're saying that there is $6.22 billion in gold in Fort Knox. Hold on. Let me see. Book value, official government value, market value. The total market value is 664 billion, or the official government value on the US books is 6.22 billion. That's at Fort Knox, I guess. Fort Knox holds 147,341,858 fine troy ounces of gold. I thought they had more. I'm not gonna lie.
he passed, you know, 3, 4, 5, I don't know, depends on what his job was or whatever. So clearly he lied. But the other part of this is there was some systemic failure here.
Allegedly.
They should have
Yes.
caught his, allegedly, please.
Yep.
They should have caught that claim that he went to Clemson, that he went to Rensselaer, that he was claiming a different rank in the Navy. And I suspect what happened here, and I do not know, but I suspect what happened here is he was retiring and they were starting to go through the paperwork to count his number of years of service, and all of a sudden things started not falling into place.
Because looking at it as a total thing.
Yes.
You think on the front end too, though.
This
You should notice it on the front end.
This is the potential systemic problem.
Okay, yeah. So talk about that, because if this is indicative of some sloppy work, they're really going to be questioning, and certainly there's going to be a lot of scrutiny from Congress about how they're doing things.
Yes, and things have changed a lot since when he joined in 2009. A lot. The process has changed. We now have, well, not we, but CIA and the intelligence
What's up,
community
Doris?
uses all sorts of, you know, AI and computer search.
Hit the like button, chat. We're 25 likes away from the next like goal. Double tap that screen on your way in, man. Tell a friend to tell a friend, man.
And all of these things. Like, I can't say that what happened here 17 years ago would be anywhere close to how it is done today. There have been significant changes in the hiring process to make it more efficient, to rely more on internet searches and as well as investigations. So that's that. But I also will say, knowing CIA and having enormous respect for the professionals who still are there, absolutely, they're going to take this seriously. They're going to be more upset than anyone that this happened, and they are going to do their own investigations, and I guarantee they will look and they will fix. But of course, Congress will be asking a lot of questions as well.
Yeah.
A huge embarrassment.
Huge. It's so mind-blowing and alarming.
It is. It's sad. But, you know, big organizations, bad people sometimes.
I have to ask you about this story about this CIA officer. You are formerly the director of the CIA. I know that you are talking to your former colleagues all the time about Iran, but I suspect that over the last hours, your text chain has been blowing up about this story, as I'm sure so many people in your position and who've worked at the CIA are seeing that happen. What do you make of this? A former CIA officer in Virginia being charged with stealing tens of millions of dollars in gold bars and foreign currency, or I should say accused of that.
So, chat, I'm going to do a first live poll of the chat. Do y'all think the gold is in Fort Knox? All of the gold that should be there? Or do you think it has been moved off site? We remember Abbott asked for his gold back. Abbott said, hey, man, we want Texas's gold back. I don't know, chat. Do y'all think all of the gold is in Fort Knox? I seen a comment in the chat that said, when you think about it, $40 million is nothing when you think about what the CIA actually does. Okay.
And facing some charges in federal court.
Well, without obviously knowing the full story here, and it'd be interesting to see what the defense is in terms of holding on to 300 gold bars. Something went terribly wrong here. That's the one thing I think you can't help but conclude. You have somebody whose background checks were not made. He basically lied about his education, lied about his military experience, and somehow that was never checked out when he was being hired. Big mistake. And secondly, when somebody is able to make off with 300 bars, gold bars, it means that the process of being able to check that and to make sure that never happens broke down. So there's a lot of questions here that raise questions, not just about the individual arrested, but whether the CIA
Shut the hell up, Ronald. When I cut on Fox News, y'all bitch and complain about Fox. When I cut on CNN, you bitch and complain. Cut on Sky News, you bitch. Cut on Bloomberg, you bitch. Cut on MS Now, you bitch. Y'all bitch about whatever I put on, man. Shut up.
In terms of their process, failed to do what was necessary.
Yeah, and this is someone with a long career, right? So there's questions about years after years.
Damn. Yeah, man. All that damn complaining like we together or something, man.
Warm up for my Senate.
Y'all are complaining like we together or something.
In House hearings next week, so I don't want anyone yelling, reclaim my time. So let's start out with Trump accounts. Trump accounts, I believe, are the most important benefit for young people since the GI Bill. Today.
All right, chat. Will y'all be getting your children Trump accounts? Will you guys be getting your children Trump accounts? I need to know. Live answer in the chat. Will you be getting your children Trump accounts?
The app is now available on all major platforms, bringing the president's vision directly to American homes. Nearly 6 million American children have been signed up for Trump accounts, which will launch on July 4th. And I would encourage all of you to go to trumpaccount.gov to sign up. We had a historic tax filing season. We passed the largest tax cuts in American history.
Basically, they saying if you make the minimum investment, your child will have like $250,000 by the time they're 26. If you make the maximum investment, they'll have like over $1 million by the time they're 26.
The average refund this filing season is nearly $3,300, an 11% increase from last year. And importantly, very importantly, 62 million returns, 44% claimed at least one of the president's signature tax cuts. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, the reduced taxes on Social Security, benefits. 85% of our seniors paid no taxes, and the auto deductibility on loans for American cars. And to remind everyone, Democrats, every Democrat voted against those programs. We've had sustained and resilient GDP growth. Real GDP has risen 2.6% over the past 4 quarters. Atlanta Fed's GDP now predicts 3.8% for this second quarter. The U.S. energy dominance, part of our resilience stems from our energy dominance. Natural gas is down, is my belief, and the futures market is showing us oil will be lower than pre-conflict levels. We are more resilient to energy price fluctuations due to President Trump's energy dominance and deregulatory agenda. The United States is now the world's largest energy exporter. The United States has never exported so much energy or produced so much energy. Main Street prosperity, the average 401k is up almost $30,000 since President Trump's inauguration. President Trump RX has already saved Americans over $600 million. I'm sure all of you will want to report on that. And the unemployment rate remains low at 4.3%. So with that, I'm happy to ask some questions. I will mention that 3 weeks ago, I got an honorary degree from the University.
Okay, so the Trump accounts work like an IRA. If your child is born between 2005 and I believe 2028, you'll get $1,000. Here you go. The $1,000 federal pilot deposit for children born 2025 to 2028 does not count towards your $5,000 annual limit. You could contribute the full $5,000 on top of it. $5,000 a year total from all sources combined. Contributions are made with after-tax dollars. Employers can contribute up to $2,500 a year per employee. This is limit is per employee, not per dependent. Anyone can contribute, parents, grandparents, friends, or relatives. Trump account has strict investment rules. All funds must go into mutual funds or ETFs tracking S&P 500 or broad U.S. equity index. Must invest, no individual stocks, bonds, crypto, or alternative investments. Parents can switch between eligible funds at any time. Withdrawals before 18 are not allowed. There are only 3 exemptions: death of the beneficiary, rollover to another Trump account, or return of excess contributions. After the age of 18, it's a traditional IRA. Withdrawals are taxed as ordinary income. Before 59, a 10% early withdrawal penalty applies unless an exception applies. The exceptions are a first-time home purchase up to 10 bands, qualified education, disability, birth or adoption, unreimbursed medical expenses above 7.5%. All right, so after 18, it works like a traditional IRA.
University of South Carolina. So if you really want to get a question, you can call me Dr. Besson. So,
I want to start with these Trump accounts. You know, there's
Hit
a
the
lot
like
of people,
button,
a lot
chat.
of working class Americans that maybe don't have the financial expertise when it comes to stock markets and investing in general. In what ways are you guys simplifying this for all those Americans so that it's not just for one class of people, but all Americans can have it?
Well, that's a great question, because 38% of Americans have no exposure to equities. They don't share in the great innovation, the machine that is the American economy, our great capital markets, which drives our prosperity. So if your child is born during President Trump's administration.
So yeah, what you could do is set it up with your employer and, have them put a percentage of whatever to go into the Trump accounts. I believe they said employers can contribute, well, you could contribute up to $5,000 per year per kid, and employers can contribute $2,500 per employee. So I guess you could work that out with your employer and see how that goes.
Treasury puts in $1,000 as a seed investment. We've also created 6 learning pods. So
next comes through supporting the channel via Super Chat and says, so QQQ drops float protocol for SpaceX. who drops right before Trump account goes live. Next, I might have to have you jump in the Discord and explain that. I'm not really following the comment. You might can jump in the Discord here in a minute and explain that.
So you can go online to the app that went up today and learn.
But yeah, SpaceX is about the IPO right before the Trump account. QQQ drops float protocol for SpaceX. I don't know what that QQQ is, but I do know SpaceX is about the IPO probably sometime early next month, and the Trump accounts, yes, are live.
And I think that this is going to be, I've been a big proponent of financial literacy, and I think this is going to be one of the greatest real-time financial literacy educations in history, because it won't be, like, there's a street in New York called Wall Street. This is what I don't really understand what happens there. American family is going to be able to look on their phone every day.
Nah, SpaceX won't flop. SpaceX is too big to fail. Even if SpaceX has significant drawbacks, it'll eventually climb. SpaceX, if there's anything systemic to America right now, it's going to be AI and big tech and shit like SpaceX, because they're trying to find a way to get this energy from outer space. They're trying to find a way to put these lasers, more lasers out of space. So SpaceX might be one of those systemic companies that's too big to fail. We've seen all the government contracts they've been getting as well. Elon's about to be the first trillionaire probably later on this year.
And see, and I think it's going to drive people to try to understand what they've got here. I think we're going to create a generation of shareholders. So, Ed?
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. I guess first, well, we're starting to see the disruption of the oil supply through the Strait of Hormuz affect economic data. First, is there a deal on the table for a 60-day ceasefire to continue that? And then second, how fast could inflation then recede or retreat, or is inflation sticky? Because the PCE was at a 3-year high.
What's up, Amy?
First of all, PCE today, month over month, was 0.2, which was, we're looking at decimal points, but the estimate was 0.2.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They'll have to find a way to put these things out of space. We just had a company that did not cap the usage on Claude, and they just burnt $500 million because they did not cap their employee usage on Claude. This is not sustainable. It's not sustainable. They'll have to get the energies from somewhere. Elon's floated putting these things in space to get the energy directly from the sun. Because what we have now is not sustainable. We're running out of water. Data centers are poisoning the rest of the water. Don't care. Call it how it is. Yeah, it's just not sustainable. They killed the Green New Deal with the wind turbines and the electric shit. Yeah, it's just not sustainable. They're not killing all of this Green New Deal and shit and just doubling down if they don't have a viable alternative. I don't think that viable alternative is going to be nuclear or oil. I think they finna try some shit out of space. That's my opinion. Art of War comes through supporting the channel via Super Chat, says, I think when he said QQQ, he was referring to the NASDAQ. Okay, thank you, Art of War, for clarifying that for me. Thank you, Art of War.
0.3, so 1 month doesn't a trend make. And what we've seen is actually oil prices are down about 10% in May. There are almost 2,000 ships waiting to come out of the Gulf. And I think the oil market is going to be very well supplied on the other side of this, and that we could see prices come down very quickly. We saw the UAE, leave OPEC. So I would expect on the other side of this that gasoline prices will follow.
Is there an agreement on the table?
Sorry?
Is there an agreement with Iran on the table?
The teams have been going back and forth, and President Trump has made it very...
Yes, they are building a digital prison in the name of exploration and in the name of sustainability. They're going to make this an exploration. Yes, exploration and sustainability. We're going straight into a mass surveillance system. Yeah, a digital prison in the name of exploration and sustainability. Yes.
Clear, he talked about it at the cabinet meeting, that he has several red lines. And Iran has to turn over their highly enriched uranium. They cannot pursue a nuclear weapon. And the Strait of Hormuz, back to your question on energy, has to free transit navigation of the seas has to be free and open as it was before. So he's not going to take a bad deal. He's going to make a great deal for the American people. So, Peter,
Thank you, Dr. Besson.
Yep.
How long until we see your signature next to President Trump's face on a $250 bill?
Well, again, as Treasury Secretary, I have 2 mandates for U.S. currency. At present, no living person can be on U.S. currency, and the currency must say, "In God we trust." So right now there is proposed legislation in front of the House, in front of the Senate, to change the first requirement so that a living person, Donald J. Trump, could be on a $250 bill. So it's all in the hands of it's all up on Capitol Hill. So
man, Scott Benson, shut the fuck up, bro. Shut up, bro. Cut it out. Cut it out, Scott Benson. Cut it out. Cut it out. Y'all are thinking about putting Trump's face on a $250 bill, so everybody's worried about Trump and his face on it and not worried about the fucking hyperinflation that is yet to come. The cookie's about to fucking crumble, man. They're not proposing larger denominations of bills just in the name of Trump's head being on that shit. No, this is a fucking hyperinflation problem that they're trying to hide and kick the fucking can down the road, man. Some people see this shit. Zimbabwe's on the way.
At Treasury, we prepare things in advance, so we have
prepared
in advance that if the legislation is passed, but we will stick to the law.
And something that came up yesterday also at the cabinet meeting, President Trump said, Oman will behave just like everybody else, or we will have to blow them up. Are you guys back there in the West Wing making plans for a new war with Oman?
Again, I think the president wanted to punctuate freedom of navigation in the strait. I had a call with the Omani and
listen, when countries make larger denominations of the bills, when the denominations of the currency get larger, from $100 to $250, there's only a few things that can be going on. Hyperinflation, damn money laundering, or a lot of money is going to be needed to be moved in cash. Again, money laundering. So it's either fucking money laundering going on or it's hyperinflation. They don't, this commemorative shit, kiss my ass. Just take that to the next fucking block and sell it.
Ambassador this morning, and he assured me that there were no plans for tolling the strait. As he said, our countries have had 200 years of good relations. He wants to have another 200 more. And I told him that this was a non-starter, and he did not want to risk either the Omani individuals or Omani financial institutions getting sanctioned.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Is it in the U.S. interest to waive some sanctions on Iran or to unfreeze some of their assets before Iran has made concrete promises about getting rid of their nuclear program?
Again, I'm not going to preview the deal, but I would think that the things would go very slowly in terms of that. So we'll see.
Dr. Just to follow up on that, because it's our understanding that the U.S. has committed to discussing the matter of sanctions relief during this negotiation period. So just to be clear, is sanctions relief for Iran?
You said you don't talk about Donald J. Trump. Donald Trump is my family. Okay, no the fuck he's not. Your name is Shamir Khalil. Your name is Shamir Khalil, bro. Ain't nobody in this chat probably related to you, nigga. Nobody at Capitol Hill is related to you, nigga. Let's just be, your name is Shamir Khalil, nigga. Ain't nobody related to you, man.
On the table.
Again, it is a multifaceted agreement, and nothing is going to be on the table until we see the Strait of Hormuz open and the Iranians agree that they have to turn over the highly enriched uranium and that they can't have a nuclear program. And to be clear here, that this administration, President Trump, has done something that no other administration is able to do. we have gotten the Iranians to talk about their nuclear program and to perhaps commit to not having one. That has never happened before. It had been off the table. So I think when you look at the results of the kinetic action of our economic pressure, it has worked to bring them to the table and have a discussion on this.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. I just want to follow up. You said that the teams have been going back and forth, but can you confirm whether or not a tentative agreement has been reached in these negotiations with Iran?
Again, everything depends on what the president wants to do, and President Trump is not going to make a bad deal for the American people, for the U.S., and he was very clear at the cabinet meeting on the yesterday what he wants.
Secretary, Kara from Lindell TV. I'm sorry, did I steal his question? Because I'm not that person.
No, it's you.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for taking my question, Kara from Lindell TV. I really wanted to get your thoughts on digital currency. A lot of our viewers are increasingly worried that digital currency could one day be used to track people's spending or limit personal freedom. What's your philosophy on that, and what safeguards is the Treasury and this administration putting in place to make sure new digital payment systems protect Americans' privacy and freedoms in the future?
Well, so this administration has been very clear. There will be no central bank digital currency, which I think would be the first step toward tracking. So we have taken that off the table. We passed stablecoin legislation with bipartisan, and the Clarity Act is now up on the hill, and I think it has bipartisan support. And the most important thing we can do is to make digital assets come into the United States, make the U.S. the home, our regulation, our best practices, or what will ensure good standards for these. When you look at digital assets, all the nonsense that happens, all the things you read about, that's because it's the wild, wild west offshore, so we got to bring it on shore. So I would encourage the House and the Senate to get clarity done. Jack?
A lot of people talking about the IRS settlement, and which has been rolled over now into this weaponization fund over at DOJ. Wanted to get your comment on the decision process, as much as you can tell, how that settlement came to be, how it was rolled over to DOJ, and then the process for those funds.
Well, I believe some people, I know Gavin Newsom, and I believe the guy running for mayor of New York, I mean not mayor, but governor of New York, has said that if anybody from those areas wants to take from this $1.7 billion slush fund, they will be taxed at 100%. Gavin Newsom said anybody in California thinking about taking from that fund, it will be taxed at 100%.
Now as it's played out.
Good. So thank you for the question. This is going to be the only question I'll take on this matter today. So there's ongoing litigation, so it'd be inappropriate for me to comment. President Trump is a great American who has endured more than 10 years of nonstop harassment and weaponization from the federal and state government actors. A bad actor at the IRS leaked more than 400,000 tax returns, including the Trump family, all the employees, and that's how we got here now. No American should be targeted for political reasons, and every citizen deserves fair treatment and full protection of the law. The Department of Justice represented Treasury and the IRS in this matter, and I'm going to have to refer any questions to Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche. So,
thanks. So President Trump has said that we can expect interest rates to come down very quickly. I did that last week. But the market at the moment probably does not expect any rate cuts this year. You know, JP Morgan said this, Morgan Stanley, and so on. So
how? Home prices are up 40% pre-COVID. The interest rates are double what they were pre-COVID. I'm talking about interest rates coming. How? That's why they want to put out this $250 bill. Now y'all see where this shit's going? Interest rates coming down rather quickly. Now you want to roll out a $250 bill. But how? This shit is crazy.
So who is right, the president or the market?
Well, I think, again, I believe that we will get through this challenging period now. on higher prices. On the other side of this, I've said publicly that I think we'll be back to substantial disinflation. But most importantly, I think we've got the Warsh Fed now. It's a new day at the Fed. The Treasury Secretary and the Fed chair have lunch or breakfast every week. I had my...
We got, hey, man, Taco Tuesday, man, you might well break out one of those $250 bills for Taco Tuesday, man. Shit's over with, bro. The $9 street tacos incoming, man. Them bad boys like $3 right now, man. $9 street tacos incoming, bro. You might as well take out one of those Trump bad boy $250, man. You think you finna feed the family some street tacos, man. That shit's over with, bro.
My first breakfast with Chair Warsh this morning, and I believe that he will do the right thing to balance inflation and growth.
Thank you, Secretary Bessent. I hope you were calling on me.
Yes.
So I'd like to ask you if you could provide a little more detail on what you're doing to shut down Iran's airlines, and also on sanctions relief. A senior administration official briefed reporters over the weekend that sanctions relief will be commensurate with nuclear concessions. But at some point, if the enriched uranium is given up, should we expect pallets of cash to be flown to Iran? Could you describe how that looks?
Well, a couple of things. On the airlines, one thing that we're not going to do is restrict movement for religious reasons. So Iranians who want to make the pilgrimage to Mecca or Medina will be allowed. We will also allow valid humanitarian reasons. But the other thing we can do is that when these airlines fly, they have to be refueled. They sell tickets. They pay landing fees. Anyone who accepts those, we will sanction. So they should be very clear that the state-owned Iranian airlines, they are outlaws and cannot do this.
Secretary. Since you're the White House briefer today, I know you've been asked this already, but I'm wondering if you can just confirm on the record that there is a tentative deal that has been agreed for a 60-day extension of the ceasefire and then a continuation of nuclear talks.
Again, it's always a mistake to get out ahead of the president, so it is.
Man, Scott Bassett, man, cut it out. I'm still sitting waiting on Scott Bassett to answer from 2 questions ago. How the fuck is rates coming down? Whose line? Is the market line or is Trump? What Scott Bassett, what the fuck are you up here for? You're taking questions on Iran and some more shit. You're the Treasury Secretary. The one fucking question they asked you, you dodged it. What are you doing? Get somebody else to do it, man. I tell y'all this shit all the time, man. We got to get somebody else to do it, bro. Just get somebody else to do. We didn't hire you to talk about how the fuck you feel about Trump going into Iran and man. We need to know what's up with the money. What's going on with the money?
It is all going to be the president's decision. I think that we can see that the president very clearly stated his 3: the open the strait, highly enriched uranium, no nuclear program. So
those things are those things part of the temporary deal right now, sir? Are those 3 aspects that you just outlined part of the temporary deal that has been agreed?
That if there can be no deal without those, why would there be a deal without those?
Mr. Secretary, thanks so much for taking the time. President Trump at the cabinet meeting said he thought that reducing fraud would help to balance the budget. You put out the goal of getting the deficit to 3% of GDP. What's your timeline for achieving that? And how do you think what can you say to make the markets, given where rates are, like kind of process kind of what your plan and agenda is?
Well, the GAO numbers, not my numbers, believe that there's about $500 billion a year of fraud. So could we very quickly?
Bro, we're so cooked, bro. We're so cooked, bro. The Biden administration changed the fucking definition of recession. 2 back-to-back quarters of negative GDP used to be a recession. Now that shit's not. We're fucking done. It's over with, bro. It's over with, bro.
You get 250 billion of that. The budget deficit is approximately 1.8 trillion. So that would reduce the deficit substantially. If we could get that 500 billion number, I think it would engender confidence. You'd probably also go into a virtuous cycle. As the budget deficit narrowed, interest rates would go down. No one reports it, but last year we actually had a fiscal contraction. Just to remind.
Karen comes through supporting the channel via Super Chat. Thank you, Karen. I hope you had a great day and a great evening, Karen.
Everyone
be sure to double tap that screen on the way in. We got to get to 100 likes. Double tap that screen, shut her live out, tell a friend that we're live.
We inherited the worst budget deficit in history, when we were not in a recession or not at war, 6.7%.
Why were we not in a recession? Why were we not in a recession? Let's get this shit correct, Scott. Why were we not in a they changed the definition of a recession. I was here for that. Some people was here for that, Scott. Talking about we were in a recession. It was fucked up. Y'all changed the we were so in a recession. Jerome Powell was so scared to say the word recession. Y'all changed the fucking definition. I will throw all of this shit away, bro. I will tear all of this shit up in here. What is he talking about?
We brought that down to about 5.5 or 5.4% this year. I think we can stay on a good trajectory.
Mr. Secretary, without an executive order, does the U.S. government have adequate defenses in place to address the risk created by Anthropic's new AI models?
We have great collaboration between all of the labs that have the large language models, but between the U.S. government and the labs. So,
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Is me? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Appreciate it. First, did you speak with the president before this briefing? Did he show any willingness to this 60-day ceasefire extension?
I haven't seen the president today.
Yeah, inflation is transitory, Drip. Then we get the damn CPI data. We're not going to talk about energy. We're not going to talk about all the shit that matters. We're not going to even talk about it anymore. We're chasing this 2% target for everything that doesn't fucking matter. And you know what? We still can't reach it, so we'll just change the damn definition of inflation. This shit is crazy, bro. And then Bassett is going to get up here and act like he just forgot all of that shit. Like he just forgot all of that shit. Where the fuck is Jerome Powell? Where the fuck is Jerome Powell, bro? Like, I never thought I would say, where the fuck is Jerome Powell?
When can Americans, the average American, and can the U.S. economy work for the average American without a deal with Iran?
Again, I believe we've already seen oil prices come down substantially. We are pumping more oil than we've ever seen before. And as I said, these are short-term challenges that we will get over, and I think we'll move forward. In the white?
Mr. Secretary, just to follow up.
No, in the white.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Secretary. Appreciate it. Given how much this upcoming midterm election will hinge on the economy, what did you think about President Trump's comments in the cabinet meeting yesterday saying he didn't care about them?
I just need Powell to come up here and talk. We can be glad Powell's not the Fed chair anymore. But one thing about at those Fed meetings, and Powell got up here and ran his fucking mouth, he was going to say some shit, man. He was going to answer the fucking question. For the good, the bad, the ugly, whether it was fucked up or whether it wasn't. Trust me, man. I've seen a market go to shit off of Jerome Powell's news, man. Straight up.
The midterms.
So you're calling President Trump a statesman? You're saying that he is taking a statesman-like position, that he has a core belief, and he believes that the most important thing is for Iran never to have a nuclear weapon. So I believe both things can be true, that we can do well in the midterms, that we perhaps have the makings of a deal here, and I believe that, and look, the economy, that it is challenging now, but unemployment is still low. Tax refunds were high, and consumer spending is still quite high. So in my private business over the years, I always looked at what were consumers doing, not what they were saying. And I'm in constant contact with the banks, and every income quintile is still doing well. Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. On the $250 bill, Mr. Secretary, you said the legality.
No, motherfuckers are not doing well. Motherfuckers are making a damn choice, bro. The motherfuckers are making a choice, man. Shit is not okay, Bassett. This shit is crazy, bro.
Of it are up on Capitol Hill, but I just wonder what your opinion is personally. Do you think it's a good idea for the president to put his face on America?
Again, the president doesn't do it. The House and the Senate have to do it.
Secretary Bessent, Secretary Bessent, what are the remaining assurances that President Trump needs to see in order for him to sign off on the agreement with Iran?
I don't think it could be clear.
You're following in the footsteps at the podium there of Secretary Rubio and Vice President Vance. There's been quite a lot of talk about their possible presidential ambitions. Does your presence here today indicate that we might see you running in 2020?
No, I think it just means they've run out of things on the food chain.
Bro, these people are so out of touch with reality, bro. Like these people are fucking out of touch, bro. I'm just gonna be honest with you. They're out of touch, bro.
There's been some back and forth over the last several days, and also with the U.S. attacking Iranian drones yesterday. This morning, CENTCOM put out a statement that Iran had launched its ballistic missile towards Kuwait, calling it an egregious ceasefire violation. How can the administration still argue that a ceasefire is in effect?
With the Iranian government, we did not have regime change, but we changed the regime. As President Trump said at the cabinet meeting, as we've said other times, the first layer of leadership was eliminated.
Bro, everyone hired by Trump, I'm convinced, was a scapegoat, bro. Everyone hired by Trump was a scapegoat, bro. All of those fucking confirmations were to bring people in, get them to do what the fuck they needed to do. They'll figure that shit out later, and then they'll just replace them. Hey, look, man, you were never meant for this fucking job anyway. We're just going to put you in here, do what the fuck I need you to do. You're going to come under fire. It is what it is. We'll just get you the fuck out the way. I.e. Pam Bondi. She's the head of the AI team. Now, what the fuck? She goes to the head of the AI team. Like, what? Where? How? Now she's testifying over the Epstein cover-up behind closed doors, not recorded. What were you there for? What were you there for? Bongino goes over there, leaves his podcast. He's there for a fucking year. He goes back home. What were you there for? What were you there for? You got Christy Nome, her husband's throwing on big tits. They're doing all kind of press run, photo runs for the betterment of America out next to the wild bison and buffalo and shit. Now, what were you there for? What were you there for?
Second layer, and we're now at the third layer. And the way to think about it is the Iranian government, such as it is three pillars. It is the elected government, it is the IRGC, and it is the clerics. And they are having trouble communicating. So we are being patient. We do not have unlimited patience. President Trump always prefers a peace deal. So everything we have done thus far has been defensive, and at present, that is what we will continue doing. But if President Trump doesn't think he can get a peace deal, then kinetic is back.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Are you hopeful that the oil prices will go down once this conflict is over, given the fact that the Strait of Hormuz remain closed, and by the time this oil gets to the major markets, could be 2 or 3 months?
Man, sometimes, Drew, we just gotta let people be weird, bro. Like, the nigga's name is Samir Khalil, and he's talking about he's proud for the great white people. Bro, you're not white. Your name is Samir Khalil. Like, No white person in America would ever name their child that. No white person, even if that's your first and middle name, no white person in America would name their kid Samir Khalil.
Again, we see that the market, I believe, is very well supplied right now. The market seems to be going into balance for itself. So I think that as the strait opens up, we're going to see this burst of ships come out. So we may actually see how quickly can it be refined, how quickly can it get to its destination.
Thank you so much, Alina Shirazi from the Daily Mail. You wrote resilience on your cabinet note meetings. Several times the photographer zoomed into it. Are you trying to keep the president calm? Are you trying to keep yourself calm? Why did you write all those notes?
Drip just came through with 20 gifted. Drip, I'm gonna give you a shout out, but I gotta get on somebody's ass right quick. Abigail Fremantle with the plump guy in the photo says, right-wing grifters like this guy. First off, my name is Plug. You might want to go check the channel description. I am the voice of the politically homeless. Now you say I don't have any integrity or conviction. Bro, you've been in the chat like fucking 4 or 5 minutes, if that. In your passing judgment, where the fuck is your integrity? Where the fuck is your conviction? You don't know me from a can of paint and you're passing judgment. Wow. I'm appalled. But anyways, back to the real shit. Drip, thank you for the 20 gifted memberships. They just got access to 300 past live streams plus some cool ass emojis. Thank you, Drip, for always showing up and supporting the channel, man, and rocking out with us. Y'all, if you received one of those memberships, be sure to give Drip some thanks, man. Everyone double tap that screen. We're 25 subscribers away from the next sub goal.
So people could look over my shoulder, photograph them, and think they got a scoop. So,
Is the United States considering a reconstruction program for Iran if a deal is signed?
Again, I think we got to get to the deal before we get to the other side. Before we get to the, you in the pink.
In the red?
No, in the pink.
In the pink, thank you. Cristina Londoño with Telemundo Network. Mr. Secretary.
Yeah, man, Drip is a W mod, man. He always has some good insight. Drip's been around the channel for a long time, man. I fuck with Drip, man. Real talk, man. I fuck with Drip, and he always supports the channel, and he always gives some great insight.
How effective do you believe the current Treasury restrictions have been in pressuring the Cuban government? And also, if you're in the room when those talks are being held, are there any plans to either tighten the sanctions or to ease the sanctions against the Cuban government to get some type of change?
Again, that's going to be up to the Cuban government. That they can go up, they can go down. That we've tried to get humanitarian aid in, and the regime rejected it. So because they wanted to go through their corrupt system. So they could go up, they could go down.
So it's kind of like this, right? Cuba has a crisis going on. They need the aid. America doesn't want the aid to go through any government channels. All of the hospitals and shit is owned by the government. It's a communist country. All of the places that would be accepting this aid are pretty much government owned. So the only way that they could get this aid legally by America's terms would be probably through the church. The thing about that is that poses a national security risk for Cuba. So it's kind of like they're in between a rock and a hard place. It's kind of like shit.
Carrot and stick, Secretary Rubio doing a fantastic job of managing this process, and we at Treasury are working with him. So in the red.
Thank you. Reagan Reese with the Daily Caller. I want to ask you about Antifa. In October, the Treasury Department started working with the FBI to investigate who's funding Antifa. Can you give us an update on that investigation? How close are you guys to finding out who's funding Antifa?
It is ongoing. We made substantial progress, and I think in the weeks and months ahead, we're going to have a lot to report.
Hit the like button, chat.
The underreported that I would point out to all of you is the IRS is now giving guidance on the Form 990, which nonprofits they have to file. And we are going to encourage or demand that nonprofits know their grant recipients. So if a grant recipient is violent, if they are suppressing people's rights, then you are responsible for that. And I think that's a very good first step. Yep.
There's new government data that shows that Americans are now saving a smaller share of their incomes than at any time over the past 4 years. Are you seeing signs that American households are dipping into their savings to pay for the higher costs of things like gas and groceries? And does data like that concern you right now?
Well, so a lower academic literature would tell you a lower savings rate can mean one of two things. The doomer view that you took, or that people have more.
What are you smiling at? The fuck are you smiling at, Scott? That shit ain't funny. It's just not no game. She's asking you some real shit. You cracking a smile and shit. What the fuck is wrong with you? Bro, these people are out of touch, bro. These people are out of touch, bro. He can't even fucking hide it, bro. He can't even fucking hide it, bro.
To pay for the higher costs of things like gas and groceries. And does data like that concern you right now?
Well, so a lower academic literature would tell you a lower savings rate can mean one of two things. The doomer view that you took, or that people have more confidence, or it could be something else, because for instance, stock market gains, or
people have more confidence. Confidence in what, Scott? Confidence in what, Scott? He's saying that our concern about groceries and gas prices and shit is because we have more confidence. Yeah, they don't need to let me at a media day, bro. I'm just gonna tell y'all, I'm not fully reformed yet. I don't need to be at a media day, bro. I'll tear all that shit up.
401k gains might not show up in savings, so they're looking at that, think that they can draw down their household savings.
You're obviously concerned about the risks posed by advanced AI models like Mythos to critical infrastructure. The financial sector is concerned as well. What types of changes are being considered to the AI executive order so it can pass? And do you believe that an AI executive order needs to include the pre-public access for government?
Again, we're working very closely with the large language labs. They've been excellent partners, and we are going to get a solution that solves for the maximum calculus. What we want to do, the U.S. is the AI leader in the world. We're an AI superpower.
Yeah, chat. I don't gonna lie, bro. I'll probably leave there with some charges, bro. Scott had to come off there watching everything, man. The way he up there talking, man. Scott, I need that little G-Shock, whatever the fuck he got on his wrist, man. Scott gonna have to come off all that shit, man. Talking like that, saying it's our confidence. We're worried about groceries and gas prices because of our confidence. I'm gonna show you how confident this shit get over here, Scott. That's what I'm telling y'all, chat. I don't need to be everywhere. That's why I stay in the fucking house. I don't need to be everywhere. Don't fucking play in my face like that. Fucking play in my face like that.
China is second. They are trailing substantially. We want to make sure that we keep that lead. So we are working on the exact calculus between innovation and safety, and we want to optimize for that. So you in the glasses? Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary.
Yeah, in the glasses.
Thank you very much.
No, you don't have glasses on. You in the glasses.
Thank you for taking my question. There was a report this morning that Justice Alito's son is working in your department. Can you confirm that that's the case? And if so, do you believe that that means that he should be, that the justice should recuse himself?
Hey, American police cams, don't come in my fucking chat yelling in all caps and shit. If you want your chat to be recognized, send a super chat or grab a membership or something, man. You said he didn't say that. He could mean that. He said he could mean that, man. I don't give a fuck about none of that. He's out of touch. I mean, you said you Democrats better wake up. I'm not a Democrat. I'm a biblically literal prophetic independent, if you want to know the fucking truth, man. I'm not a Democrat. I'm the voice of the politically homeless. And when you come in here, you sit the fuck down somewhere. Don't come in here yelling and shit. You don't go in nobody else's house that you know yelling and shit. Why the fuck you think you can come in here typing in all caps? It makes my chat look ugly. It pisses me off and my mods, Scott. So take your shoes off, sit the fuck down somewhere. Not Scott, but police cams, whoever you is.
From cases that involve your department?
I am sure that Mr. Alito follows all legal and ethical guidelines, and I can assure you that at Treasury, we follow all the legal and ethical guidelines.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. I have 2 questions for you, but just to follow what you said about the
Well, you didn't call me doctor, so I only get one.
Well, I'll shoot for 2. You said that it's up to Congress. The president's face is on a $250 bill, but it is actually the Washington Post that's reporting
No, I didn't have this channel when Biden was lit. I had a different channel. I was on Biden ass too when he had the strategic oil reserves at the lowest point in 50 years. I was on Biden ass too when he changed the definition of inflation. I was on Biden ass too when fucking Jerome Powell wouldn't even say the word recession. Yeah, it just wasn't on this channel. It was on another channel. I didn't go live. I was doing videos. I just used to do long form uploads. I didn't go live until I got on this channel.
2 political appointees from the Treasury Department who have asked agencies to be ready to do that. Do you think politically it's a good idea to put his face on a $250 bill when people are struggling to afford gas and groceries?
I don't really understand this Washington Post article. That who hears from the Post? Yep. Terribly written, terribly edited. Because basically what it says is that Treasury is following the law and that we've created the bill and that it's up to Congress, but that we follow the bill and it's up to... I didn't really understand what the story...
Do I have any hope right now, Quiz Darwin? No. No, I have no hope. I have no hope. Other than some divine intervention, man, the faith the size of a mustard seed, no. Hell no. I have no hope. None. What has given me any inkling of hope? Nothing. I go fill up my fucking truck. There's no hope there. I go to the grocery store. There's no hope there. I get ready to plan some fucking activities for my kids and shit, man. I gotta wonder, is there anybody even gonna be there? It used to be everywhere was packed. Now I gotta think like, damn, is it gonna be even worth it to take my kids over there? Who the fuck's gonna be there? Yeah, I have no hope. None.
So,
but anyway,
appointees aren't involved in that, 2 of your political appointees?
Yeah, of course, but we prepare for everything if it gets passed. Just like we were ready 6 months in advance for the one big beautiful bill for tax guidance. So we have to prepare in advance. You can't draw something up the day before.
Politically, do you think it's a good idea though when people are struggling to afford gas and groceries?
Look, I think it has. I think that it's bifurcated. That do you think we should have a 250th anniversary? The celebration?
Well, that's happening anyway, but putting the president's face on a $250 bill is a choice.
But Caitlin, it's not happening anyway. It's happening because it's being funded.
All right, look, we finna get the bots the fuck up out of here. Shamar, I'm tired of seeing you, man. Somebody get Shamir. Matter of fact, I got it. Everybody say good night to Shamir, and then you come in here. Mike says, why is this channel so homophobic? Ain't nobody even talked about the gays tonight, man. We're gonna get your ass up out of here too, man. I ain't bullshitting. Scott Bassett,
by the federal government.
Scott Bassett got on my fucking nerves right now, so I damn sure ain't got time to deal with y'all. Come in here, sit the fuck down somewhere. You want a juice box, the damn sack lunch or something, man? Get that shit together for him, man. Listen, I ain't got Scott Bassett done ran me hot. I don't have time for y'all tonight.
By state governments, by municipal governments, to celebrate our country. And I don't think that there's anything untoward about having the President of the United States, the person who was President of the United States, on the 250th anniversary bill.
On Russia sanctions, what you just commented on there, Mr. Secretary, about the $1.8 billion fund. Is it accurate that the General Counsel of the Treasury Department resigned over that?
I will not be taking any other questions, I will not be taking any other questions.
But you know, Wall Street over here.
So,
Given the scale of the assault from Russia on Kyiv in recent days and the fact that diplomacy seems to have settled down, there is no diplomatic talks happening right now between Russia, Ukraine, or the U.S. What about sanctions? Is the U.S. considering sanctions on Russia at this time?
Well, the U.S., this administration has put the hardest sanctions on Russia of any country.
So what I'm saying, sanction Russia for what? Ain't they already sanctioned the hell out? They gotta leave the damn country to get their fortnight earnings. Sanction Russia for what? Fuck it. Just put indefinite sanctions on the world, man. Fuck it. Sanction every fucking. That's what we do anyway. Shit.
Country. So let's review how the sanctions regime has gone since the Russian action on Ukraine. Biden administration put on what I would call mild sanctions because they were worried about gasoline prices going up into an election. It would be an unstatesmanlike sanctions. Probably the worst national security advisor in the history of the country, Jake Sullivan, in an act of bravery on his way out the door in January, they raised the sanction level on behalf of the Trump administration. We let those in situ when we took office. They fast forward to October, and President Trump instructed me to sanction the two largest Russian oil companies, Lukoil and Rosneft, which we did. No other government has done that. So no one has done more sanctions than the Trump administration on Russian oil. Here, who wants to own this? Gray hair. No, gray hair. No, you don't have gray hair. Oh, maybe you do. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. When you had breakfast this morning with Fed Chair, did you request that the Fed lower interest rates?
I had breakfast with Chair Powell 41 times, and I never did that. Last question.
Thanks, sir. Governor Gavin Newsom has floated this idea of a 100% state tax on Californians who receive money from President Trump's anti-weaponization fund. Your response to the governor's call for 100% tax?
There's no cure for stupid. Okay.
Oh, no, man. Oh, my gosh. All right, chat. That's the end of that Fed meeting by Jerome Powell. Let's get into this Cenk versus, let's get into this Cenk Kevin O'Leary debate, man. We'll watch some of this Cenk Kevin O'Leary debate, then we'll get into that Anna Kasparian and Candace sit down. This shit is crazy, bro.
Everybody is in a rush to fire 10 to 25% of their workforce. But 10% unemployment would be worse than anything that's ever happened in our lifetimes. We're going to have a depression like we've never seen in our lives.
Wow, Jake's a real Debbie Downer today. I mean, this is an unbelievable opportunity we're talking about. I gotta buy more sunglasses for how bright the future is.
If you notice, Kevin actually didn't address the wave of unemployment at all because there's no question that it's going to happen. And when we hit the iceberg, we're not going to be ready, and it is going to be an epic disaster.
Change is disruptive.
Chat, hit the like button, man. Hit the like button, chat. Everyone double tap that screen on your way in. We're 25 subscribers away from the next sub goal. I'm not gonna lie, chat, man. I don't like Kevin O'Leary. I don't like him, bro. I used to feel indifferent about him. Like, I had a favorable opinion of Kevin O'Leary. I don't fucking like Kevin O'Leary, bro. I'm just gonna be all the way honest with you, man. I don't fucking like Kevin. In Canada, man, y'all need to take Kevin O'Leary back, bro. Kevin O'Leary needs to go back to Canada, man.
And it's uncomfortable. But the scare factor of saying that everybody loses their job and the robots eat the children, I just don't buy it.
I don't know anyone saying that the robots are going to eat the children. And I understand that change happens, but we have to be careful with change because by 2028, we're going to have disaster from AI, unemployment, and disaster from the war. The only hope is electing a smart person who's prepared in 2028. And Republicans, I have one thing to tell you. Nah.
You said what's wrong with Kevin? He doesn't have the American people in his best interest, and he's not fucking American, man. Why is Kevin O'Leary having so much say-so and so many decisions and shit? He's trying to make a data center that's 62.5 miles big. The fucking data center. Man, take that shit back to Alberta or Toronto or somewhere, man. Get shit the fuck up out of here, Kevin O'Leary, man. Cut it out. Cut it out.
No. There's no way. Nobody's showing up to vote. Their voter enthusiasm is obliterated.
But the Democrats have also lost their way.
And the Republicans only have one guy who could win, and I'm worried about it. Tucker Carlson.
So as we head towards the midterms, but also the elections, which aren't actually that far away now, do you agree that we're heading towards a more socialist America?
So let me just say this. How about that for an answer?
This is super interesting to me. My team give me this report to show me how many of you that watch this show.
Various forces. Arabella is the name of it. I didn't know anything about it, but I was wondering who was spending all the money in Utah with all that misinformation about what the data center was going to be, talking about using water we weren't, or using power we had no intention to, or 40,000 acres. That's complete BS.
Kevin is a venture capitalist. So the way I like to describe Kevin is he's uniquely positioned. As a venture capitalist, he has ties to legacy banking, very strong ties to legacy banking. He has to raise capital, right? But also, he has to deploy that capital somewhere. And tech, big tech is where he's deploying that capital. He's trying to deploy it in Utah with this 62.5 square foot data center. So Kevin O'Leary kind of floats in that gray area between legacy banking and big tech as a venture capitalist.
Yes, it was all lies. And I said, who can afford that? So I've hired a bunch of forensic auditors, and lo and behold, it took me back to the Chinese through Arabellum. Neville Singham is his name. He's funding all these organizations in Utah, and I caught him through the IRS 990 filings, and I handed it over to the White House and to a bunch of special agents. And I just wonder what's going to happen next. I'm loving this now. This is so interesting, and it's a national debate, and the poo-poos hit the fan. But I'm not debating this. I'm not suggesting it. I have irrefutable evidence the Chinese are meddling in every place where new power is being proposed in America, every state, every city. And it all goes back to the Chinese through this Arabellum. And just look at the IRS filing.
That's the thing. Kevin O'Leary, stop that shit. It's not about the power. It's not about the power. It's about the data center specifically. It's not about the power. Nobody's talking about they're mad refineries are coming back. Nobody's talking about they're mad that some solar shit came. And nobody's talking about they're mad about wind turbines or anything. They're not even mad about the nuclear coming back. They're mad about the data centers. It's not about the energy. The energy's never going to be expounded upon to the population. The energy's going to get sucked fucking dry by the data center. So don't frame this shit, Kevin O'Leary, like they're mad about energy coming. And no, you're framing this shit and we're not here for it. I'm not having it. Cut it out. Sometimes we just got to tell these people to cut it out. Cut it out.
Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just providing the truth.
Kevin, so just for context here, there is a proposal to build some data centers in Utah, and you're saying that the pushback and the negative reaction that has been seen is being encouraged or sponsored by the Chinese who are driving misinformation through bots? Is that what you're proposing?
No, it's not through bots. It's actually through contributions that are shown through a wide network of different entities. It's very well cloaked. But through forensic audit and IP address scraping, with some really strong data scientists that I hired and I'm working with, we were able to provide 90 pages of IP addresses from foreigners to various agents and various entities within the U.S. government. And we're going to keep doing it. We're providing it every 4 hours. Because one thing I have that I guess they hadn't thought through is I have 12 million followers on social media. No data center developer has 4 million followers. This all showed up on my feeds with bots on Twitter, which is now X, and on Instagram, and then on to LinkedIn. So we just provided the data to the government, and where the chips fall, I have no idea. And we had death threats to our executives. I provided that to the FBI, and they visited the woman who did it in Denver. I think scared the pee-pee right out of her, but she won't be doing that again. So
Kevin O'Leary, nobody's scared of you, bro. Let's just get this shit all the way understood. Kevin O'Leary, nobody's scared of you. We don't want to know nothing to happen to Kevin O'Leary. We want to live a long, fruitful life and shit, man. We just want you to go back to Canada. Look, nobody's scared of you, Kevin O'Leary. Like, let's get there. We know you got some money. We know you're tied in with the government, man. But cut it out, man. Cut it out, man.
I mean, listen, bring it. Don't mess with me. I'm just going to provide the data back to the government. I'm just telling the truth. I'm not debating it. I'm not suggesting it. I'm providing the IRS filings of the cash coming from Arabella right into the Alliance for a Better Utah. End of story. I mean, listen, I didn't ask for this fight. I'm just providing the data.
Is that how you see things? Are you seeing the pushback in terms of AI? Do you think it's coming from Chinese-sponsored actors, or do you think it's something else?
No, I don't think China has anything to do with it. So first off, there's a lot of things Kevin and I share. I'm also an entrepreneur. I'm a capitalist and went to Wharton Business School. So I love America. I love the opportunity that America provides. I wanted to provide opportunity for all sorts of new businesses. So that's not remotely the issue. Okay, so the question is, are we going to pay our own costs? So now on the AI data centers, in the beginning, I started reading these stories about how the data centers are driving up the energy costs for everybody in that community that they're based in, and I couldn't believe it. But then I thought, okay, since we have basically legalized bribery in America, that probably is true. They probably, given enough campaign contributions to make this happen, and it turns out they have. No, if you're going to do a data center, you have to pay for it, and you have to pay for all of its costs. None of this subsidizing your costs to the average taxpayer who's not getting anything out of it. So
What's up, Michelle?
we have to be absolutely meticulous about who's paying for the cost of the data centers. And it should be the businesses that profit from it, unless you'd like to have the American people take some equity in your business, because if we're going to pay your costs, well, obviously we should have equity in it. When we bailed out the bankers back in 2008, it was an absolute crime. We should have taken equity in those companies and then sold it later for a profit. I don't want the government to run banks, but I do want us to not be suckers. We constantly pay for the research of the drug companies and never get any equity. So if you're going to be capitalists, let's be capitalists. Now, the real reason why people are most angry about AI is not even the data centers, and they have every right to be livid about their energy costs being higher so somebody else can make a buck. But the bigger issue is the unemployment that we're all worried is coming, and it most definitely is. So there's a lot of happy talk about, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, robots are going to be cooking our salmon. Or 2 years from now. I don't really care. I don't need my salmon cooked by a robot. What I care about is, are we going to have massive unemployment? And right now, and I'm curious what Kevin's going to say about this, because it's kind of indisputable if you're in the business community, everybody is in a rush to fire 10 to 25% of their workforce. And whoever gets there first gets a competitive advantage, and the market's rewarded. And
yeah, shareholders reap the rewards, man. Everybody else is sold out. Companies are done matching 401ks. It's over with. It's over with. Stocks are done paying dividends. It's over with. Shit's crazy, man. Shit's crazy. Hit the like button, chat. We're 25 subscribers away from the next sub goal. If you're enjoying the content, do not forget to subscribe to the channel.
And their stock price goes up. Well, if everybody goes to fire 10 to 25% of their employees, we're going to have not just a recession, but a depression like we've never seen in our lives. And everybody's whistling past the graveyard here. So do we have a plan? Does the government have a plan? The only guy I've ever heard of working on a plan to deal with this tsunami of unemployment is Ro Khanna. Other than him, it's crickets. And I think we're going to hit the iceberg really hard.
Interestingly, Cenk, the other person that I've heard talk about the unemployment wave coming has actually been...
That's what I'm saying. Like, why doesn't somebody ask Kevin O'Leary what jobs are going to be created? That's all you got to do is ask these people. Hey, man, what jobs are going to be created? They're going to say, it's going to create so many new jobs and stuff we can't even imagine. Well, what? What is it? Nobody has an answer. Nobody. We're in uncharted territory. That's why I tell y'all, we don't have the answers for these children either. Nobody. The guys building the data center, the people building the AIs that are supposed to create all of these new jobs, they don't know what it is. Maybe there is no new job creation. Maybe there are no new jobs for people. Has anybody just thought about that? Like maybe it's fucking over with.
Been some of the big AI CEOs. And if you go back and look at their quotes through time, people like Sam Altman predicted that there will need to be some kind of UBI scheme. And I think WorldCoin, which is his other startup that uses retina scanning to be able to distribute value to people, to check they're humans, one of the principles of the foundation of that company was to distribute UBI, universal basic income, to everybody. So on this point, Kevin, do you disagree that there will be a widespread unemployment apocalypse, as Cenk has called it on his Twitter feed?
So let's go through Jack's shopping list of disaster. I think it's fair to address them one at a time. Let's talk with the energy. I totally agree with him. You can't build a data center anywhere and tap into the grid because he's right. The price of energy would go up at the library, the church, and the community center by 30%. And that's what happened in Virginia. So that is no longer a possibility. In Utah, for example, I have to bring my own power. But the idea would be if we produce this energy, because there's no data centers without energy, we'll put it back into the grid, not just for Utah, but for the whole country, because I think he's right. Anybody that's building a new data center should have the responsibility to provide the power and put some of it back into the grid. That would solve two problems at once. The grid is tapped out, the library has no more power. We'll solve that problem for Utah and the country. So that's the first falsehood I run into, fueled by the Chinese propaganda that came into Utah, or whoever they are at Arabella, the CPP, or the whoever this agency is, because you have to follow it through all these nefarious holdings. But at the end of the day,
There is not going to be robots driving the school buses. There ain't going to be nothing driving the school buses. That's the thing. There's not going to be, like, the shit when it comes to driving and flying and shit, it's not going to be no robots flying. It ain't going to be nothing there. It's going to be driving itself. The bus going to be driving itself. Ain't no robots driving. The bus going to be driving itself.
That's number one. Number two, the idea that everybody gets replaced by robots and then they eat the children, I don't buy that at all.
Does this channel ever have positive outlooks? Sometimes, hell. Been here many times. It's all gloom, doom, and depressing in here. Swipe up on the fucking live, Carol. Swipe up on the live, man. Maybe this shit's not for you. Have you ever thought about that, man? Maybe this shit's just not for you.
New technology in American history for over 200 years has created vast opportunity, productivity, and fueled the economy to lead all economies on Earth by 20%, which is still the case today. Now, it's an uncomfortable reality that the market hit new highs today, and that is an index of how great American companies are, and the smaller companies that are 5 to 500 employees also hitting on all cylinders now, using AI tools for productivity, customer acquisition, maintenance. So the scare factor of saying that everybody loses their job and the robots eat the children, I just don't buy it. And so I think we should have that debate, but you don't know yet what opportunities there are in the economy driven by this new technology. So I think I know there's fear and loathing, and I think it's important to have that narrative. I think it's great to debate it, but I think we should deal with fact. It's very, very uncomfortable when change hits anywhere, and yet it's proven itself within the.
Listen, Carol, I told y'all. By definition, they say I'm a biblically literal, prophetic independent. That means I take the Bible literally, and I believe AI is the mark of the beast and all of that shit. So short of a divine intervention, we're fucked, in my opinion. Anything short of a divine intervention, we're toast.
Context of the American economy to rise it above all challenges and still lead the world. Unfortunately, there's the issue of defense and the economy against China. They're our big adversary. In this last conflict in the Middle East, where very few boots hit the ground, it was the technology that provided the ordnance precision that's been used. In the future, wars will be conducted using AI. And unfortunately, the country with the best AI technology will win those wars. I would certainly not want China to be ahead of us. Yet I think they're the ones that would like to stop us building power and developing our AI platforms because they have something called DeepSeek. I just want to put a fact out there because we're talking about this. While we were stymied in building any new power, forget about data centers, just new power, the Chinese in the last 19 months built.
Yeah, exactly, Drew. Touch grass when it gets too bad, man. The weather's getting good. Y'all go to your Walmart, get you a fishing license, man. They out there stocking them ponds right now, stocking them lakes and shit, man. Listen, go put that pole in the water, man. Touch grass. Get you a 5-gallon bucket, man. Cut one of those foam damn floaties around. Put that damn foam float. Now go sit on your bucket and throw your pole in the water, man. And touch some grass, man. Straight up.
400 gigawatts of power off burning coal. They don't care about the environment. They don't have any policy about that. They have a supreme leader who points his finger at the ground and says, build a coal-burning plant here, put a data center behind it, or you'll
You said fish, you a Jew shield. I like fishing. I mean, what the fuck does fishing have to do with chilling, man? I'm not even selling bait on this motherfucker. I don't even have a lure to sell you. I just told you to go put your pole in the water. How the fuck am I a shield? Damn, maybe I need to get a Walmart link up here when I drop shit like that. Have a little lure or something to sell y'all. Damn pole or a rod or something. Shit.
disappear in 18 months. And the people involved say, chop, chop, Supreme Leader, we will make it happen. We can't do that in America, and he knows that. So he's spending as much money as he can, making sure he stymies the efforts of every entrepreneur in every state to do the same. So that's what I think is happening, and I'm happy to provide the data, as I mentioned earlier, and let the government and their special agents in all of these different departments I'm working with now, I'm proud to be.
See, that's that's community support. Jay Broke said, make a lure and sell it. We'll buy it, man. We got the plug sack lure coming, man. We finna drop a plug sack lure. I need y'all to show up and support the plug sack lure, man. We finna drop
Providing
one.
this information. I think I've kicked the door open on something very, very nasty.
Kevin, I would like to take a look at that information as well. So I'll pick up with you
Thank
about
you,
that off
Hallelujah.
camera. What I wanted to ask you is a lot of this sort of doomerism around unemployment that we're talking about comes from the CEOs building.
All right, I'm gonna let it play for a little minute after this. I'm not gonna pause it for a little second. But this is a live poll. We do live polls around here. I try to do quite a few of them throughout the show to get the chat interactive. So they're talking about unemployment. How is the job market where you are locally? I don't need to know about how your cousin's living over there. I need to know where you are. How hard or how easy is it to get a job? And what are these jobs like? I need to know what kind of jobs are they? Are they entry level? Are they, good jobs? Are they sustainable jobs? Are they temporary? In your local market, how is the jobs?
The AI companies. And this is something that's always caused me a bit of cognitive dissonance, which is, I think if you go back to, I've got some quotes here from March 2021. Sam Altman said, and he's for anyone that doesn't know, the CEO, co-founder of OpenAI, which is the maker of ChatGPT, AI will probably replace most of the jobs people do today. Entire job categories will be totally gone. And then Elon Musk said in May 24, probably none of us will have a job. If you want to do a job, it's kind of like a hobby. You can do a job, but otherwise AI and robots will provide any goods and services that you want. And Dario, who's the founder of Claude, which is the other major leading AI model, said, this was in 2025, AI could eliminate half of all entry-level white...
Jason, now I don't know why you ain't got your plug sack bag. Now this finna be the third bag I done sent out this time, Jason. I asked the person that I have sending out the merch, and she confirmed to me that she sent you 2 damn bags, and I know she not lying. Everybody else has got their bag but Jason, and we done sent you 2 bags out, Jason. I'm gonna send another one, but I don't know, Jason. This the third damn bag now.
White-collar jobs within 5 years, a shift that could push unemployment up to 20%. The public is being sugar-coated on what is coming. These are the people that are most well-placed. and arguably, I mean, it depends how you look at it, have the least incentive to say that their companies are going to cause societal harm. And they're saying that their companies are going to cause massive, massive unemployment. Do we assume that they're not telling the truth, or that they don't know what they're talking about?
I think that's a very selective bunch of sound bites. Dario also said, the CEO of Anthropic, if we don't build more compute capacity in the next 6 months, the Chinese will catch up with us with DeepSeek. That's an ominous warning because, you know, let's say you decide, look, it's too scary. Let's shut down the US's ability to advance compute. Let's just shut it all down as the Chinese want. And let's all sit around the campfire and go kumbaya. Do you think the Chinese are going to stop? I don't think so. I think they're going to continue to do this, and they'll invade Taiwan using no boots. They'll just use AI to shut down their power.
Can two things be true?
Chips. I mean, I'm just telling you that the kumbaya stuff I totally agree with. I love it.
Bro, if we're so worried about China catching up with DeepSeek and shit, why the fuck is Anthropic dropping Claude Mythos for free? The shit doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. We're worried about China catching up with their AI DeepSeek, but we got fucking Anthropic dropping Claude Mythos, shit they say can hack any government shit, finding crypto keys and everything like that. We're going to release this shit for free. The math isn't fucking mathing. It just doesn't make sense to me.
But it's not reality. Should we compete? Should we advance our technology? Should we be the best in the world advancing research on AI to solve for cancer? Yes. Or do you want the Chinese to do that for you? And in 20 years, they'll tell your children what to eat when they're sitting at their table in New York City for breakfast. I'm in the camp that says, we know who our adversary is. We know that why they want to stop us. And Dario himself said, hey, everybody, we better build some data centers real fast, or in 6 months, DeepSeek is now #1 on Earth. I don't want that outcome.
Cenk, it appears to me that, you know, there's the CEOs are acknowledging that there could be a mass wave of unemployment that's going to cause a bunch of problems that I don't think people are thinking about. But also what Kevin's saying.
Give up your liberties, give up your rights in the name of what the fuck Kevin O'Leary's talking about. Bro, Kevin O'Leary's not American. He doesn't give a fuck about Americans' rights being infringed upon, bro. Like, this shit that Kevin O'Leary's pushing out, man, that he just cares about America so fucking much. I'm not buying it, bro. I'm not fucking buying it, bro. I'm sorry, bro. It seems inauthentic. It seems hollow. I'm not fucking buying it, Kevin O'Leary. And you've given me no reason to buy it. You're a venture capitalist, dude. Like, your fucking job title doesn't even let me believe that shit, bro.
About it, you know, there being this sort of global race between countries also appears to me to be true. That if we just sit back and relax and put our fingers in our ear, then there's going to be a huge competitive advantage with this transformational technology that falls into the hands of China, and we'll miss out as the West. What's your perspective?
First, to address a lot of things that have been said. First, I don't know anyone saying that the robots are going to eat the children. So I want to thank Kevin for educating me on a talking point there. I'm less concerned about that, a lot less concerned. But I am concerned about some level of death with AI, and that has already begun to happen. There are reports that we used AI in targeting that girls' school in Tehran, where we killed over 160 innocent schoolgirls. So if that's what AI is going to bring us in precision, as Kevin called it, no thank you.
So JD Vance came out yesterday and said AI should never be given a license to unalive anything. AI should never be given the tools and keys to make their own decision on life or death. So I don't know. And then the very next day, we got Peter Thiel saying he relocated and put his kids in school in Argentina. JD Vance comes out and says AI should not be able to make life or death decisions, and now Peter Thiel's leaving. It shit is crazy.
Thank you. I'm not interested in that kind of non-precision. And I would much rather have human beings involved in life and death decisions. And I'm super worried that AI is going to be used more in the military. And no, I do not trust Palantir. So now, in terms of universal basic income, I mean, think about it, guys. If a coder is making $120,000, you know, I don't know where that puts him in 2 years in, 7 years in. It's a healthy salary. It's not the world's greatest salary, but it's a good salary for a middle-class person in America. Then you switch to UBI, you'd be lucky to get $3,000 a month. That's $36,000 a year. You're going to go from $120,000 to $36,000. That is going to be
Jason, a massage therapist is fucking toast, bro. The moment they get the full factories up and rolling and it's fully automated and shit gets cheap, man, they'll have full body massage couches, man, for like $300-400, man. Full body massage couches and shit. Them things like 3,000-4,000 right now, man. It'll be like $300, bro. Massage therapist is toast, man. It's over with, man. Unless you selling a little ass or something, it's over with, man.
devastating. Even if you magically got universal basic income passed in America immediately as the wave of unemployment hit. But I don't think that's going to happen either. So is the wave of unemployment going to hit? Well, if you notice, Kevin actually didn't address that at all. Because there's no question that it's going to happen. That is why literally every CEO of the AI companies is saying, well, you know, our product is great and you should value us at $1 trillion or so. But yeah, you're all going to be fired. And that's inescapable. It's already begun. The coders have already started getting fired, especially young coders. They feel totally betrayed. They have to find a new line of work. But maybe that's a little bit easier for them because they're young and they're smart and they're professionals, et cetera. And there's a lot of smart folks, but
Damn, why did this
getting a new profession at the age of 58?
Oh, chat, double tap that screen, shut alive out. Carlos, you're in here. I fixed my settings, so I figured out what it was. I didn't have my laptop in performance mode, and my OBS, I had everything running off of, I guess, my processing power on the computer, so I routed it somewhere else. So I freed up a lot of that power, man. But yeah, I fixed it. So we haven't glitched or lagged or anything. I just had to put the computer in performance mode and fix some settings at OBS.
62? What if you're a truck driver?
Oh, I did update my Windows too. I updated Windows too.
And so I'm not saying that the Waymos don't work better. I actually would trust a Waymo more than I would trust a human driver. But nevertheless, that car no longer has a driver that it did when it was a taxi or an Uber or a Lyft. And I understand that change happens. And look, I'm a progressive. I'm for change. Politically, I'm for massive change. I thought Obama did comically little change. But we have to be careful with change. So which direction is it going to go and how are we going to handle it? Right now, I think Wall Street has lost its mind. How could we be at record numbers? Who do you think is going to buy your products? So this guy named Nick Hanauer, there's a lot of folks who believe in this, but he's a big advocate of it. A really smart guy up in Seattle, also an entrepreneur, also sold his business and has done well. And he talks about middle out economics. If we give more advantages to the middle class, they immediately spend their money. If you give it to the rich, which is what we've done all our lives with this neoliberal nonsense that we've been doing, and trickle-down economics, well, they barely spend any of it. So giving to the middle is the much better way to go. And of course, the question is, how are you going to do that? And you don't just want to give away money. On the other hand, we give away money to oil companies and big drug companies and everyone who's got...
I'm just going to be honest. All right. So the Pope apologized for the transatlantic slave trade and shit. You know, I heard about it. It really didn't move me. It's kind of like, all right, you apologize, man. Cool beans. What else? You know, what else? But Ghana came out and was like, yeah, we accept the damn apology for slavery and shit. And I'm sitting here like, Ghana, who the fuck asked Ghana? Who the fuck asked Ghana about this shit, man? Listen, Ghana cannot speak for what the hell is going on in America, man. And what went on in the Caribbean. Who gave Ghana the fucking microphone to speak for this shit?
Excellent army of lobbyists in D.C. But we're not ready. And no one on earth has given me a plan for, oh, Cenk, don't worry, when 10% unemployment hits, which is at this point almost baked in, completely inevitable, right? What are we going to do? 10% unemployment would be worse than anything that's ever happened in our lifetimes, let alone if you get to 25%. Zero plans for it. None. When we hit the iceberg, we're not going to be ready, and it is going to be an epic
Now, H. Buster, listen to what you just said. H. Buster, listen to what H. Buster just said. Most slaves came and went through Ghana. So why the fuck are they apologizing for it? If you facilitated this shit, why the fuck are you accepting an apology, I mean? You facilitated the shit. And now you want to accept an apology for some shit you facilitated? Man, come on, bro. Come on, H. Buster.
Disaster. There isn't going to be anyone to buy your goods because the employees are also customers. And you're going to lose a massive amount of customers, and it is going to absolutely torpedo our economy. I can't believe how short-sighted Wall Street is. Now, does that mean we stop AI in its tracks and we stop change? No, we can't stop because it's true that China is also going, Russia is, North Korea is, Israel is. Now, the problem is if we get it first, then very, very likely the Israelis will also have it, and God help the world if that's true. They have not been restrained in how they use their power, and I wouldn't want them anywhere near that kind of power. But nevertheless, there is a race. So we can't just stop. So can we do the race in a way that is responsible and actually serves the American voters and citizens instead of just serving the executives of the AI companies and the shareholders of the AI companies? I hope we can, but we've taken absolutely zero steps in that direction.
So let's get specific, Cenk. What might that look like to continue developing this technology, but do it in a way that's responsible and benefits everybody? Because this is kind of what I hear a lot of. I hear from one side people saying we need to carry on going, or, you know, the robots and the kids thing. On the other hand, I hear we need to be responsible. But either side don't tend to be very specific about what their definition of responsible or a responsible race might look like. So does anyone have any specifics? Cenk?
Yeah, so look, it's a tough industry to regulate. I get it. You have to move fast, and regulation usually involves some degree of bureaucracy. But if you have no regulation at all, you will have it run amok. That's pretty much guaranteed, and all the leaders of the AI companies say likewise. So the problem here in America is that it's nearly unsolvable in the window of time that we're talking about, because we've lost our democracy in America. We've legalized bribery. That happened back in Supreme Court decisions in 1976, 78, and then, of course, Citizens United. And so since
they committing all the fucking fraud, bro. Openly, in our face. Because they're not going to be able to do it no more. Once this system is fully integrated, man, this total police state, man, they're going to be held fucking accountable for the first time ever. The whatever beast surveillance fucking system they're trying to bring, it's going to hold their ass accountable. That's why the fraud is so fucking open and blatant. They know it's the end of the fucking road. It's the last of the Yeah, it's crazy.
We have legalized bribery in this country. There's no way they're going to serve the voters. So whichever AI companies are giving them more money, they're going to serve them. And that's already begun to happen. And the AI companies have already started getting involved in primaries and eliminating their opponents through money in politics. So our politicians are deeply, deeply corrupt in America. Republicans and Democrats, they almost all serve the donor class. So we won't make it. I'm telling you right now, we're going to run into the iceberg, and it's going to be an epic disaster. The only hope is electing a smart person who's prepared in 2028 that can begin to get us on the road. So now, when the disaster hits, the AI shareholders and executives aren't going to like it either, because the reaction will likely be tremendous anger. And then someone like me is going to say, hey, you know what? Why do they get to keep all the money and you're all broke and out of a job? They created this cost, which is unemployment. Why don't they pay for it? So why don't we take some of the billions and billions and billions of dollars that these AI companies have made?
Yeah, no, my chat just not moving. I guess y'all not being interactive. People probably laying down in bed, twiddling their toes, getting ready for tomorrow and shit. I don't know, man. What y'all do? Wake up in here, man. What's up? Double tap that screen. Shut a live out. We're 25 subscribers away from the next sub goal.
And put it towards their costs, which is the unemployment of the American people. So they could, at a minimum, fund unemployment insurance, and we could make sure that that's very healthy. And they could begin to fund other things that might actually help other humans.
All right, I'll throw this thing in subscriber-only mode. Hey, listen, y'all don't want to get active in the chat. I promise y'all, I figured out how to do it now. I will throw this thing in the subscriber-only mode. I promise you I will.
Human beings, I know, heaven forfend that a millionaire or a billionaire should ever help another human being. But if you don't, the pitchforks are coming. I'm not a pitchfork guy. I believe in nonviolence, and I always will. But I don't think people get the level of anger that's happening. I'll try to stop it, but the pitchforks will be significant. And this whole thing of, no, I get all the money and you get nothing, will not play well. You can try it, but it will end in disaster.
Kevin, the pitchforks are coming. We're going to hit an iceberg. And it also sounded like AI is going to ultimately lead to a rise in what sounded like socialism.
Wow, Jake's a real Debbie Downer today. You know, this has been forecast in the American economy every 20 years. It's the end of the free world as we know it, and that's not what happens. Let's go back and do a little fact-checking on Jakester here. First of all, AI companies lose billions. They don't make any money right now.
Oh, we got the real McGoy comes in with the membership. Welcome to Plugged In, the real McGoy. You just got access to 300 pass live stream plus some cool ass emojis, man. Chat, show them the emojis that we got in the chat. Everyone double tap that screen. We're 25 likes away from the next like goal, chat. 25 likes away.
Now they're in a race, as we talked about earlier, against China primarily. They're raising a ton of capital and losing billions every year. We don't know yet how they're going to monetize it, but the market's willing to provide it because they see the productivity opportunity and the cure for cancer and the democracy around education and productivity for the nation already been proven by record earnings in the S&P, of which all 11 sectors have adopted the first wave of AI to enhance productivity and reduce costs.
The real McGoy says not getting rid of this. Got that easily. I don't know what you mean by that, the real McGoy, but appreciate you for supporting the channel via Super Chat.
We don't know yet what new jobs are going to be created. I'll just talk about the ones I'm creating in Utah. 4,000.
Oh, he said now if he goes member only, I'm set. Okay, I get it. If I put it in member only mode, you still around, man. I get you. Appreciate you for supporting the channel. Double tap that screen, chat. Shut a live out.
Construction jobs for about 9.5 years, high paying, and another 2,000 engineering and support jobs, extremely high paying, because what's now a desert will be a data center, not near anybody's backyard, not replacing farmland, not using any of the water the way the people have been talking about, not taking any energy from Utah, but in fact contributing to it, not polluting the air, because we can't do that without air permits. All of this stuff is a falsehood. So what we don't know, and Jake's right about this, is no one ever predicts with a new technology what the outcome is. So I'm not a doomer on this stuff. My job here is to maintain a direct focus on entrepreneurship, hire as many people as I can, because that's what I do. And I take a lot of flack. I mean, Jake's hitting me hard today.
What's up, Matt?
And I appreciate he's an intelligent guy and he's got an opinion. And I'm glad we're in.
All right, Najee comes through supporting the channel via Super Chat, says, good evening, Plug. Enjoying the show. Thank you, Najee, for always showing up and supporting the channel. Thank you for always showing up and hanging out with us. I hope you had a great day today, Najee. I hope you had a great day.
In this narrative and having this discourse. It's important, but let's deal with fact, not rhetoric.
All right, let's move on.
And not hysteria, because I still go back to the robots eating the babies, because that's all I listen to.
One of the things that's probably going to be a disruptor to AI's, so I should say America's ability to pursue these technologies is what's going on with president approval ratings at the moment. I've got this graph here in front of me, which you don't need to be able to zoom in to see, which shows that President Trump's approval rating is declining rapidly, in part because of what's going on in the Middle East. I wanted to get, Cenk, your opinion on what all of this stuff is. As someone like me, I don't really know much about politics. I know that there's these midterms coming up in November time in the US, which is going to be consequential. But from a 30,000 foot perspective, how do I pass out the truth of this war? Because Trump seems to be saying different things. Every day there's a ceasefire with Iran, and then they're bombing again. I think 2 days ago they started bombing again, which they call defensive strikes. And then there's a ceasefire, and he says there's a deal about to be done, and then there's some bombing again. The Strait of Hormuz is open, then it's closed.
Right, because it's the same cycle. We've been going through the same cycle since February 28th. 3 months now. I tell y'all this shit. Threats. Oh, we're going to get a peace deal. Markets open. No peace deal is done. Rinse and repeat. No peace deal is done. Oh, threats into the weekend right before the markets open. Oh, we're close to a deal. It happens every fucking week. Some variation of it.
I just don't know what the truth
Ashley?
is. Cenk, in your opinion, what is the truth? What's going on?
Yeah, so first let's start with the president's polling numbers. Yeah, they've been decimated by this war. They were already in trouble because of the Epstein files, and he didn't do anything about affordability. Just gave a massive tax cuts for the rich as usual, did whatever Israel wants as usual. And so now, he's eaten into his own base. So he's barely hanging on to a majority of non-MAGA Republicans that voted for him. Only 53% still support him. He's lost about 20% of hardcore MAGA. His disapproval numbers are at record numbers now. 68% of the country thinks we're going in the wrong direction. About 76% of the country is dissatisfied with how the economy is going. And a lot of that is because of the war. And so the war is obviously driving up gas prices, which is then leading to inflation in other areas. Of course, a lot of things use not just oil and gas, but fertilizer, which has also been blocked.
So I've had talks with a couple of people, and this gas prices, they're in a bind. They're already having to pay for daycare. Summer's out. Now they got to pay for childcare. They're strapped with childcare. Also, their monthly gas bill is went up. Like maybe they were spending like $200 a month on gas. Now that $200 a month they was spending, where gas was like damn $225, $235. Man, that's turned into $400. Kids out of school and shit, man, it's crazy. It's crazy out here.
Through the Strait of Hormuz. So we're having an energy crisis, actually mainly.
Yeah, Michelle, when we hit 50K, I'm gonna do a photo shoot, man, for the 50K chat. I'm gonna put on I'm gonna put that shit on, man, and I'm gonna pull out my old school, and we're gonna do a photo shoot for 50K. I'm gonna put it on the little community tab, man. We're gonna celebrate.
In Asia and Europe, more so than even America. So that's why the South Koreans are livid at the Israelis, that they're having to, conserve gas and go through lean times because Israel wanted this war, and literally no one else on planet Earth did. And so shortages in India. And this is all before we re-engage and restart the war, which is what I'm afraid is going to come next. So now some folks have a hard time believing this, but we have to go back to a conversation we had earlier. Remember, in America, we legalize bribery. So
now I'm gonna go to the tire shop. I found this abandoned tire shop, man. That's probably it's probably about within an hour, man. I found this abandoned tire shop. So I'm gonna probably, put on, a Dickie suit or something like that, like a tire shop, shit like that. Pull my old school out, one of my old schools out, wash it up, get it clean, have my white walls looking all good and shit, man, and just do a little photo shoot.
One corporation can give to an infinite amount to a super PAC, corporate interests, lobbyists, individuals. To give you a sense of the scale of the problem, one family alone, the Adelson family, Miriam and Sheldon Adelson, have given Donald Trump over $317 million in campaign contributions. We used to have a word for that. It was called a bribe. And Trump is so accidentally honest on this stuff. He just can't keep anything in his head from going outside his mouth. So he has said, oh, Miriam, she cares more about Israel than America, right? I'm like, no, that's super awkward. And then he says, oh, Sheldon Adelson used to come in here and tell me what to do all the time. And then I did it, and I moved the embassy for the Adelsons, our embassy in Israel. He's just, basically selling off our foreign policy. To be fair to him, almost all of our politicians do that. Israel gives to 94% of Congress. So Israel is not some unique lobbyist community that is unseen in the world. No, all the lobbyists do this. That's why we give $35 billion in oil subsidies, which they're profitable companies. That makes no sense. Why does an average person have to give money to ExxonMobil? That's insanity. Because Big Pharma's lobby is so strong, we can't negotiate prices. Now, when it comes to Israel, that's when people lose their minds. And mainstream media goes, okay, you're right about Big Pharma, you're right about big oil and defense contractors and every other lobby. But if you say the same exact thing about Israel, we'll call you an anti-Semite, cancel you, and you're never going to ever get another job again. No criticism of Israel is allowed without us doing massive oppression inside this country. So we've now got Israel that is totally empowered to go rogue. They don't follow any laws. They don't follow the laws of war crimes. They've now invaded Lebanon. They say they're going to take all the way to the Litani River. They're going to own southern Lebanon. They've already ethnically cleansed southern Lebanon, moved out 1 million people to ethnically cleanse Gaza. Netanyahu on tape bragged about, we used to have 53% of Gaza after the war. Now we have over 60%. So it was to steal land. That's what it was about. It wasn't self-defense. Lebanon's not self-defense. Israel invaded them. Iran's not self-defense. We invaded Iran. This war was utterly pointless, especially from an American perspective. Let me tell you what American interests are and what Israeli interests are, and they're very, very different. In America right now, because we started this war, we need the Strait of Hormuz open. That's what's hurting our gas prices and all of our other prices. And affordability, inflation, all of that is connected to the Strait of Hormuz. We didn't have that problem before the war, but now we have it. We've got to open it back up. In order to do that, Iran has an enormous amount of leverage. We've got to make a reasonable peace deal. Good news, we were about to have one over this weekend. And all we want, theoretically, is for them to to not make nuclear weapons. And they've already promised 18 different times that they wouldn't do that. They did it under the Obama deal. They've offered it before the war. They've offered it during the war. So that is not an issue. And them promising it doesn't mean anything. It has to be verified. So what they're saying is, yes, we will have international monitors verify that we will not have a weapon. So that's the only thing that America said they cared about before the war. So then we're done. And we just killed 49 of their top regime leaders. Trump says we destroyed their Navy, their Air Force, and everything else. We're done. We have no American interest in there. The only interest left is leave, open up the Strait of Hormuz so we can get our economy back on track. Israel, on the other hand, has said they would like, and again, this is on tape, Netanyahu said it, they would like to be the only regional superpower in the Middle East. In order to do that, they have to destroy every other power in the Middle East. Now, good news for them, they completely control our Congress and our presidents. Yeah, so they got us they literally gave us a verbally. The Israeli lobby, have soldiers are going into Lebanese homes, Muslims and Christians, stealing all their property. Then they put it online and go, look, we stole other things. Then they destroy the homes and they say, now this is Israeli territory. That's not self-defense, that's terrorism.
Yeah, what they did in Lebanon, like with Apple taking the damn cities off of the maps was crazy. I'm not gonna lie. What they did to Gaza, Lebanon, man, crazy.
We are supporting a terrorist nation and we're giving them hundreds of billions of dollars. And this isn't even helping Israel. We're enabling their worst instincts and they're getting the whole world to hate them. How does that help Israel to have the whole world despise you because you're so selfishly driving up everyone's prices and creating endless wars? Literally no other country on earth wants this war in Iran to continue other than Israel.
Kevin, you have a different perspective on the effectiveness and purpose of the original strikes that Trump did. Are you supportive of this military operation at large?
Well, you know, I'm not a shill for any politician. I focus on policy because that's ultimately what survives. Politicians come and go, policy lingers. I've always said that, and that's as an investor what you have to worry about. So let's talk about the situation in the Middle East. For about 49 years, some people would say 60, it depends what you believe in the early years, the Persians were a very advanced society in mathematics, poetry, art, you name it. They're very famous. And then you have this small, I'm going to call it bad management. I don't know what else to call it, that took this society, brutalized the people there, created a million-man army run by 150,000 people, a super militia that caused a lot of chaos in that region with proxies, as people have been talking about. This militia is paid with cash that's gotten from the sales of energy. And they would stop killing their own people if they didn't get paid. So that the 150,000 that run that country to brutalize the almost 100 million others, I mean, it's a really strange platform that hasn't worked for the people there for 60 years. But it was tolerated by all the neighbors until 6 months ago. The United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, they wanted to stay out of it because it was, you know, it was relatively calm. Every 6 months, the Houthis or one of the Iranian proxies would blow up an oil ship, kept the insurance premiums 30% higher. And then the proverbial poo-poo hit the fan. Now, China, let's get down to business, gets 48% of its energy through that strait, as does many other Asian countries. So they, as Jake pointed out, you know, basically are underwater. They don't have energy. Jack, I should say. So, you know, at the end of the day here, there's a problem. And so what's going to happen when this is over? Forget about look, you can't let a society that 150 people there say, let's kill everybody. I mean, they're on a different kind of mandate. They're a little strange. You don't want to give those people a nuclear bomb. I don't care who you are. They're just offside, and they're happy to kill their own people, but I don't want them killing everybody else with interballistic missiles. So no, they can't have 90 pounds of enriched uranium, and they're not going to get it, and they're going to keep getting bombed until they give it up. And at some point, somebody in there is going to say, whoa, we're getting tenderized in here, and we got to stop this, and we got to get the best deal we can. We want to stay in power to keep killing our people as long as we can, because we're the 150,000 guys that live very well and everybody else lives like crap. And that's just the way that society works. And if the people want to rise up and kill the 150 that are killing them, they will one day, I don't know. But here's what I think. I think the actual countries around there are going to end up in the same boat that we have in the Suez and Panama Canals, where there's a fee to go through, but it's managed so that no country, including China, gets to run it. And so that has already found peace, and all the shipping lanes are open and the insurance rates are normal there. So if you're Saudi Arabia, you got, let's say it costs $5 billion a month to police the strait. Okay, that's a good number because I'm probably right, pretty close to it. That's nothing for the UAE and for Saudi Arabia and Qatar, Bahrain. They're going to need it open. So if they have to be like the United Nations for that region and keep it open, that's great. Now, I'm staying long the UAE because I've invested there in ADGM. I have a company there. I've got employees there. I talk to them every day. I think this is going to end soon, but I would like to see it in a way that Iran is isolated. Maybe, you know, they can't control the strait and they can't have the nukes. Those are the two things that I think have to be resolved. And then if they want to brutalize their people forever, okay. You know, they're going to do that. It's a horrible outcome for those people. I feel terrible
Yeah, let's get Kevin O'Leary to fuck up.
All right,
outta
you
here, man.
guys, I am so excited. I have been saying, probably seen this all over online, that I have been dying to host Anna Kasparian because I feel like at the exact same time, her and I had perhaps a broader awakening about this left-right paradigm that is not serving the left or the right and is only serving the elites. It's how we are all feeling right now. And similarly, her and I are both under a very severe attack from Zionists who, I guess, want our family.
So Candace was a Democrat. Now, then she was MAGA, the Republican. Now she's fucking independent. Candace, I fuck with you, but is that what's going on, man?
Families to be harmed. Anna
Yes.
Kasparian, welcome to the Candace Show.
Thank you for having me.
I'm like thrilled to have you. It's
Thank
just
you.
so funny because we hated each other so much.
So much. I mean, it is wild where we're at, but I'll tell you where I started to change my mind about you. It was a few years ago where, well, first of all, it started with your firing at the Daily Wire and what you were fired for.
I just needed her to say it, man. I just needed her to say it, man. If she's independent, just go on and say it, man. I know she's not MAGA anymore. She's denounced that, but we haven't really heard Candace say, fuck the conservative party, man. I mean, fuck the conservatives, man. Fuck the Republicans. We haven't heard her say that, man.
Right? The fact that you were willing to call out a genocide for what it is. And I really respected that because there weren't really any media people on the right at all at that time who were willing to do it. Then after that, you went on, I think maybe a few podcasts where you talked about your evolution in regard to your perception of Muslims. And I was like, okay, that takes an honest person to say that, to like admit I was wrong. And especially on the right where, you know, the Islamophobia, which I think is the product of brainwashing, is still very much prominent, right? And then the final thing that happened was you went on, I think it was Breaking Points, you were talking to Sagar and Jetty. This is before the election. You were in support of Donald Trump at the time, but Sagar asked you, you know, you're against invading Iran or going to war with Iran. What would you do if Trump gets elected and he goes to war with Iran? You just straight up said, I will no longer support him and I'll be vocal about it. And I'm like, okay, we'll see. We'll see. And you made good on that promise. And
You said, when will independents actually form a viable party that can win? They probably won't. They'll probably have to usurp the Republicans and the Democrats. That's probably what'll just have to happen over time. They'll get all of the legacy characters out of there. New people will come, young, fresh minds. Maybe they won't be so tribal. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's what'll have to happen.
And I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I think for me, I had to sort of re-examine. It takes a lot of humility, I think, when you have a public platform. People are always rooting for you to be wrong anyway. And I think it's the reason that so many people hold on to ideas even when they know they're wrong.
Yes.
They just don't want to do the thing and go through the process of change.
But people love it.
Yeah.
People love when you're willing to be honest about what you were incorrect about and that you're willing to recalibrate or evolve on an issue. I know that I'm growing and evolving. I mean, I started working at TYT when I was like 20 years old. And so I'm now going to turn 40 in July. So that's 20 years. For me to not change at all would be ridiculous and embarrassing, to be quite frank. Right. And so I'm proud of my changes. I'm open-minded. I'm willing to have conversations with just about anyone as long as I know it's going to be good faith.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to find a way to bring the American people together.
Okay, Anna says she's been in this game for 20 years. Okay, Anna. Okay. I didn't know Anna been in the game that long, man. Salute to Anna for being in the game 20 years. Chat, everyone hit the like button right now. We're 25 likes away from the next like goal. If you're enjoying the content, man, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Never miss out on a live stream.
Because we are in the fight of our lives. Our government is not representing us. And the only way we can change things is if we're willing to build coalitions and work together on our system of government and making the reforms that we need. We need to get money out of politics. We need to ensure that foreign governments do not have a say on our foreign policy or our domestic policy. If we don't do that, we're screwed. Our country's done. And so I'm noticing that there is some growing unity between the left and the right, the anti-war left, anti-war right, who are privy to the fact that our politicians are super corrupt, that they're bought by moneyed interests, and you can't really solve that problem with one group of voters. You really need all hands on deck.
You do. And I think for me, when I started to have these scales fall from my eyes for a second time, by the way, I feel like I sort of graduated to politics. And I was like, oh, I figured this out. Republicans have it right, and the left has it, Democrats have it wrong. And I felt so great about that. And I felt like so free and so smart. And so then when I went through this second process and was going, wait a minute, why is genocide sometimes okay? And going, I can't have gotten that wrong. Come on, Republicans. This is obviously what's happening in Gaza is wrong. It's kind of a scary process because then you you go, how could I have had this so wrong?
Totally. No,
how could I have had this so wrong?
It's a scary process because politics has become more than just, oh, this is a group of people I agree with on policies. It turned into, I think, a replacement for religion for some people. It turned into, because think about, the era when everyone went to church or everyone went to temple or mosque, whatever. It's your community, right? These are people that you communicate with. These are people who might have different politics than you, but you share a faith, and as a result, you have exposure to people who have different ideas. But then as people became less and less religious in this country, I think politics or political parties kind of became the church, right? And it's scary to go against your community.
Right. And that's it. You suddenly find yourself in a position where you have to make all new, political friends, so to speak.
Exactly, yes.
And then you see what they are capable of, what they are willing to do.
The church got involved in politics. What are we talking about? The church busing people to vote and everything.
How much it is,
right?
Just as you're describing, not even a religion, a cult. And how quickly I was sort of excommunicated. And they tried to, just as if you're leaving a cult, convince me that I was the crazy person.
Right.
For saying something so sensible, like, hey, killing kids is wrong. We shouldn't do that. Like saying a statement like Brian Mast did about the Palestinians, there's no such thing as an innocent Palestinian, which is what I was tweeting about in particular. Everyone should just have been like, of course, this is a wrong statement from Brian Mast. But they tried to play this psychological game on me where they were gaslighting me.
Like you were in the wrong because you realized that you have a sitting United States congressman wearing the uniform of a foreign country in the halls of Congress talking about how it's okay to just slaughter an entire group of people, including women, children, elderly people, because of the cult he's in. It is a cult. And I mean, what are our values as a country? And the other thing is the fact that you were willing to put everything on the line to speak out against the genocide in Gaza made me realize that you are actually good faith on other political views you have, right? Because I'm pro-choice. That hasn't changed. I mean, I'm definitely not in favor of, late-term abortions happen, but they're very rare. But, I think that there were some laws written in a way that could have been abused, whatever, But my point is, when it came to conservatives who said that they're anti-choice, I was like, they just want to control women. That's all it's about. They don't actually see the fetus as a life. They don't see a zygote as the same as a human life. No, but you do, actually, right? Because you'll see conservatives cheer on what's happening in Gaza and now Lebanon, and then purport to be pro-life.
Yep. That was one of the big ones for me where I was going, we're pro-life and you're telling me that there's an exception because you have some heretical theology that's telling you that, oh, all of these rules are, of course, we should be abiding by this. And of course, it's the right thing to do. And God, Jesus Christ. And then they go, oh, but unless it happens in Israel, then it's okay. So I'm like, oh, wait, so there's this random carve out where we can mass murder kids as long as it's in Israel? Why doesn't every mass murderer just go to Israel and just do whatever they want? And then you just go, well, they're chosen. So this land is chosen so they can do whatever they want on this land. That was shocking for me. And it made me go a lot deeper on theology. And gratefully, like my husband is just, he majored in theology. And so it's been kind of a part of his internal dialogue for a very long time. And I was like, what am I missing here? Like, how did I miss that I was in partnership with these people that you're right? This is not a theology for them. This is a cult. This is a cult.
What's really interesting and something that I've always wanted to ask you about is Do you feel that, I mean, I'm sure, look, I'm seeing the success of your show. So obviously there's a giant portion of conservatives out there in this country who side with you and don't fall under the category that I'm about to describe. But do you feel like you were kind of used as a tool earlier in your career?
Absolutely. I know, not feel. It's a fact.
Because when you're critical of, let's say, the Black community, oh, they love it, right? That's when you get a platform and you get all the...
And that's what I was telling y'all, chat. That's what they want me to do. They don't want me to have these streams right here telling y'all that I'm the voice of the politically homeless. They want me to get on here and talk about niggas all day. Talk about how niggas do niggas stuff, how niggas need to get it together, how niggas are just corrupt mind. That's what they want me to do. They want me to be the voice that talks about niggas all day. Yeah, that's what they want me to do.
Plaudits and speaking engagements, but once you speak out against what's happening in Gaza, you're not that useful tool anymore.
That was one of the things that was really hard for me to contend with personally, because obviously when I was at the Daily Wire, we were actually kind of in the midst of the same topic, really, right? So it's like you're talking about a race. You're saying, okay, this thing happened. So they were saying October 7th happened.
Gito?
BLM was saying the George Floyd thing happened. This is going to be the impetus now. And they were doing things that, in my view, still to this day, were just wrong. I don't care what happened in Minnesota. You don't have the right to go into Target and grab a flat screen TV, right? And so I wanted to do a documentary. I wanted to dive deeper on the topic. And it was round of applause from a Daily Wire. This is amazing. Give her a platform. Well, then I watched virtually the exact same thing, right? Using race as an excuse, saying, oh, well, we have to do this for Jews. You had this event, this event that happened, which was singular, and then they tried to extrapolate it, and I'm going, well, it's still wrong, right?
Right.
The law is the law. Like, morality is morality. Doesn't matter if a Black person does it or if a...
But at least Candace can admit that she was used for that. Now, I don't know. I think this is the first time I've heard her admit that she was used to be the voice to tear down the Black community, to talk about niggas. Let's just be honest. We can name a few of them. Them brothers that be sitting on there on the damn channel, man, they be talking about niggas all day. The Officer Tatum, talking about niggas all day. Jesse Lee Peterson, them talking about niggas all day. That's all they do, man. Talk about niggas all day, man. Let's be honest.
Jewish person does it, you don't get to rob and steal Palestinian homes.
Exactly.
And suddenly it was, you're an anti-Semite. You deserve to have nothing. You shouldn't even be allowed to travel to Australia because you are akin to Adolf Hitler.
That's
the
crazy.
Same people that gave me the platform. And so it was a very tough pill to swallow.
So Australia banned you after you said that it's a genocide?
Yeah, that was the beginning of I was temporarily banned for ads from YouTube because they are organized online and started mass reporting my new channel. I got banned from Australia, got fired from the Daily Wire. They started putting pressure, Ben Shapiro in particular, on, this is the Zionist lobby. It's not just in America,
powerful.
It's global.
Yeah.
And so I went.
I'm devastated, y'all. I think I just got an update that Arkansas girls just lost in the damn College World Series. Look that up, bro. They said Arkansas girls just played in triple extra innings and lost, bro. Wow. Now I'm Arkansas for real, Chad. I'm for all the Arkansas sports, man. The girls losing softball, man, that's a tough blow, man. I wanted them to win.
Went from being a rock star to suddenly she is Adolf Hitler and deserves nothing in her life because she has a moral principle. So you kind of look and you go, well, I have two options here. I can play the game.
Yeah.
And do like the majority of people do and just look the other way and say, oh, I don't really care about what's happening overseas.
Go along to get along.
Mm-hmm. Or you take a bold stand and you say, I'll rebuild it. Because I don't want to have a house that's made because I'm silent on issues that actually impact my soul. I want to get into heaven.
Okay, I mean, there's that for sure. But on top of that, I don't think people who go along to get along realize they're going to get caught. Because audiences aren't stupid. And we might be in an environment.
All right, Chad, I know we're going to get back into that. But They lost off a home run in extra innings, man. This is the first time Arkansas women had made it to the College World Series. Yeah, and they just lost in triple extra innings off of a walk-off home run.
Where you can get away with either being silent or providing ridiculous excuses for why you're not speaking out against what's really going on, or why you're not, willing to tell the truth about what's going on. Eventually, there's going to be enough videos of dead children. Eventually, when it comes to the war in Iran, the gas prices and the inflation is going to be so bad that you're going to lose people, and people are going to wake up to what the reality is. And when they are personally harmed, when their own household is personally harmed by these policies that, the government pursues based on moneyed interests or foreign pressure, well, they're going to lose support from the people. And what do? The first thing they do is they engage in intimidation tactics, censorship. The more the, pro-Israel crowd and the Zionists attempt to censor people and intimidate them, the more counterproductive they're being for their own cause.
Right, but they
because
don't
it wakes
think
people up.
They don't think long term. They're always thinking short term and what's right in front of them. They're not trying to make friends. They're trying to terrify people. They operate exactly like a mafia. Who would you say on the left of people that maybe were your heroes, were you shocked didn't take the moral position?
I don't talk about him that often because it really does break my heart. He was the best reporter after the 2008 economic collapse, Matt Taibbi. He hasn't taken the wrong position. He's just decided to be silent for whatever reason. And that kind of breaks my heart because he's such an amazing journalist and reporter. And I thought that he would be an important voice in exposing the truth to people. But for whatever reason, he's just decided to remain silent. And when people kind of started to nudge him about it, he continued to be silent and then defensive. And I'm like, there's something going on. And I'm also in a different place in my life where I don't feel the need to just go out of my way to attack people. I used to be an attack dog a little bit. So I'm not going out of my way to attack him or anything. I'm just disappointed. And so I just note it for the record and then I move on to people I can trust.
Yeah, so much of that, I think especially for me, obviously the Charlie Kirk assassination.
Yeah, I bet.
Was just, I will never see politics the same. I'm like, what did that man live for?
Yeah,
He platformed all of you, me, everyone. I just thought there would be an army of people assembled. And I thought we'd have a truth in a week. This man is the reason Donald Trump is in office. He was brothers with Don Trump Jr. So could you imagine the shock that I have gone through? Kash Patel, who was the person writing hardcore for Kash Patel.
Kash Patel, there's something going on with that brother. I don't know what is going on with him, but there's something very strange about him. I mean, it could just be a lack of competence for the role that he's in, but when you consider the fact that he's our FBI director still, when you consider the fact that we have depleted 80% of our missile interceptors because we've given military aid to Israel, Ukraine, we're currently using interceptors, in this war against Iran. I'm worried about our national security. Our national security, and I'm not one of these ooh, I'm going to scare everybody. I'm not a scaremonger. And I never bought into national security threats or that narrative from the government when it came to manufacturing consent for wars that we got involved in. But right now, when you just look at the facts, our military capability is weakened. We don't have the manufacturing capacity that Iran has, for instance. They build $5,000 drones real quick. We have an entire corrupt system where these defense contractors, first of all, we don't have the industrial base and the manufacturing capacity to build these weapons as quickly as we would need. Okay. And then on top of that, just because we're spending an arm and a leg on our Pentagon, on our defense budget, doesn't mean that we're getting our money's worth.
No, we're sending it overseas.
We're sending it overseas. And on top of that, we're spending more than we need to on the weaponry that we purchase, the defense capabilities we purchase from these private defense contractors.
That's the kickbacks.
Yeah,
that's the entire neocon class.
Exactly.
And that's the Meghan McCains of the world who sit up there, have accomplished absolutely nothing in their lives, but just sit up there and go, war, totally. Because my trust fund needs to grow, and have the audacity to lecture us.
I have a funny story about Meghan McCain.
I am amazed that she has the audacity to ever speak, but my daddy, that's her whole position in life. My daddy, she's never done literally anything other than say my daddy.
I've never met a woman in the media space or political space who's less intellectually curious
Most
than Meghan
unimpressive.
She's so, I mean, she used to host a show called Take Part Live. And at this time, she and I knew each other. And so I would fill in when one of the hosts was out. But we interacted. And I remember one time they called me in to be a guest on the panel. And they were going to talk about, this is during the Obama administration, they were going to talk about Obama's expansion of drone use in, the Middle East. And a lot of innocent people were getting killed, a lot of collateral damage. And people were very critical about that. And so she just had to read an article so she would know what the story is as we talk about it on the show. She couldn't be bothered to read the article.
Yeah.
She had no interest at all. I'm like, why are you even in this space? What are you doing?
You could see that even when she was on The View.
Oh, totally.
She just had nothing to add that was intellectual or that looked like she maybe studied. She just comes across like they had a butler who did her homework. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that she reads very few books. There's just something about her, and yet she has this attitude and this sense of this arrogance. Well, my daddy, and has no idea what the general viewpoint is of her father. Like, too, that's also stunning. It's like she thinks like her dad is some like very well liked politician. No, actually, on the right or on the left, was your father very well liked, or is he very respected? And I think people chose this sort of respectful silence, obviously, when he passed away. And for me, a moment where I really saw what she was when she used her father's funeral to dunk on Trump. Like,
I don't remember that.
Oh gosh, the speech, yeah. My dad would say that this country was always great because, Trump said, make America great again.
That's right. I do remember that now.
And I just thought to myself, what is your life?
Mhm.
Like, do you have a real life? If you think
Yeah.
that I would waste one sentence, one breath towards an enemy when my father
Yeah, at the funeral.
at the funeral, it's like,
yeah.
are you kidding me? You're
I wouldn't
trying
have
to
mentioned him at
dunk
the
a
funeral.
political. It's
Yeah.
just, it was to me so crass. And so, it's the arrogance that goes with it when we know you've worked for nothing in your life and you have had everything handed to you and you actually don't have any moral principle outside of more war, more war, more war.
Yeah.
And the amount of people who are dying. It's the way these people speak to us, and I'm saying left and right. The way they speak to us when they call us evil, psychopathic.
When we're worried about innocent people getting killed, like that, at the heart of it is that we find it immoral, just like I did on October 7th. I find it immoral when civilians are targeted and killed. So I was not ever one of those people who cheered on what happened on October 7th.
Right.
Never. I never would. That goes against who I am as a human being. I value human life, and I don't think civilians should be targeted for any reason. Anytime they are, the person doing the targeting, the group doing the targeting is in the wrong, period.
That's it.
So when you now have upward of 75,000 people killed in Gaza, and you mention that to a Israel firster or a Zionist, and they respond to you immediately by saying, what about October 7th? What that communicates to me is you do have a problem with civilian lives being lost.
Hey, do y'all think Candace let people wear shoes in her house? Do y'all think Candace let people wear shoes in her house?
On a particular side. But civilian lives mean nothing to you. At first I thought when it comes to the Palestinians, but no. I feel like human life doesn't matter to them at all unless we're talking about a Jewish Zionist. Because if you're a Jewish person, like Dave Smith, for instance,
they'll kill you too. They could care
but
less.
you're
about
not
you.
a Zionist. They couldn't care less. You're right. They could not care less, and I just find that so immoral. But they turn around and they try to make us look like we're the immoral ones because we have a problem and we're speaking out about this.
That's exactly right, and you understand even within the Jewish population. And that's why I've done so much. I've made such an effort over the last year to wake up Jewish Americans to this, right?
Yes.
Because I view them as you were brainwashed. This is what you think. I mean, this is the whole reason they started the program of birthright.
Y'all don't do that shit either, man. Listen. I just checked my cousin feet right now to make sure this nigga ain't had no shoes on in here, man. Yeah, we don't want no shoes in here, man. So weird.
And when the ADL guy got caught, like on a private call saying that, like, we need to kind of come up with something. We're losing Gen Z. We got to do like we did when we established that program for Birthright. And this is why Max Blumenthal has done such incredible work, because he went on Birthright and he spoke about that experience. They're brainwashing them so young, right? We are all subject to brainwashing. That is the most important thing that I think I have come out of learning as, like, how did I get brainwashed? I thought the same thing. I was watching the Holocaust movies. All of that is a part of your growing up, your brainwashing experience, what you're learning in the classroom, who is the victim, and who do you have to defend, who is being oppressed. And so there's this sort of trigger mechanism that is within all of us. It's buried within us from the time that we're kids, and we don't realize it because we're just taking in so much media. We're listening to our teachers, and then we're like, October 7th happens, and then they go, remember all that stuff? Like, this is now, you have to understand what they're going to do next. Think about what happened. You don't want another Holocaust.
It's like priming you to be accepting of something that just goes against your core principles.
And for Jewish Americans too. So you can understand why they reacted the way that they did right away.
Of course,
They're going to get that 20 times worse. It's going to be your stories about your grandma in your book. Like, you go to temple, you go to, you go to synagogue, and you're going to have those presets. And then it went too far. And a lot of them snapped out of it. And now I get Jewish people email.
Yeah, Carlos, I'm going to tell you like this. Your ass come to the, where I'm from, man, be late to something if you want to. Be late to a barbecue. Be late to a fish fry. Be late to fucking Thanksgiving. I bet your ass won't be late no more. I bet your hungry ass won't be late no more.
Emailing me, being like, I don't know what this is. I don't know why I'm being told I have to defend Jeffrey Epstein. I don't know why I'm being told
it's wild.
I have to defend Bibi Netanyahu. So
can we just address how brazenly obvious, like, okay, when every pro-Israel media figure comes out at the same time and basically says, oh, there's no big deal with the Epstein files, they shouldn't be released, you're giving it away. Like, you're giving it away. Like, you guys are too obvious. And what I'm wondering is, was the propaganda always this bad, or is it that we're just a lot more awake now because...
Yeah, Carlos, that is something, man. Why do Hispanics wait so late to eat? Why do y'all wait till so late to eat? Like, that's something I noticed. Like, y'all wait till like damn 9 o'clock to eat and shit. Why is that? I always thought that was always different to me. Like, why do Hispanics wait so late to eat?
Because there's diversified independent media. People are kind of breaking out of their bubble, so it's harder to lie to us. So their, like, propaganda muscle has atrophied to some extent.
So well said.
Right?
I think it's the latter. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think we are more awake than we've ever been. There's independent media. And it's also, like you said earlier, they can't help themselves. So the entire strategy of the Daily Wire, try to destroy me, actually woke a lot of people up. It's like, my goodness, Candace was going around Judeo-Christian, doing all the things. She worked at...
Top Cat said the food take too long to cook. Top Cat, that's only one thing that take a long time to cook, bro. Let's be real, man. And let the tamales and shit, that's for holidays. It's only one thing that take a long time to cook, Top Cat. Let's be real, man.
Prager, you want me to believe that overnight Candace Owens became an anti-Semite to
For
Adolf
real,
Hitler?
though. I know.
She was working with Ben Shapiro and Marisha Strait and Dennis Prager, and they're like, yeah, no, it's crazy how it happened. She fell and bumped her head, and now she's Adolf Hitler, and that it's the whiplash. It's too fast.
Yeah.
People go, okay, maybe you had me at Nick Fuentes. This is like, people go, okay, he was done early, he's 18, we didn't know who he was. But they just start moving, and then you're going, it's Candace Owens. Oh no, Tucker Carlson bumped his head and became Adolf Hitler.
Right.
It becomes way too, and then you go, okay, let me go back and really see what's happening here.
Totally, because, I mean, look, Nick Fuentes' rhetoric is nowhere close to Tucker Carlson's rhetoric. Nowhere close to it.
They're all in the same box.
Right, but they're lumped together, and to me, this isn't really about hatred toward Jewish people, which I find immoral, just like I would find hatred toward Muslims or hatred toward Christians. Like, hating any group of people simply based on their identity is wrong. I've always been against that. Yeah. But yeah, it just seems like I forgot where I was going with that. Yeah.
Hey, yeah, Chad, I'm not with all that taking too long to cook and shit. Listen, I don't even cook my greens in a pot no more, man. I'm putting them greens in that pressure cooker, man. I ain't got all day for this shit, man. Y'all can sit that shit on the pot, man, and go on about your bit. Listen, I ain't got time for this shit, man. I'm finna put them greens in that pressure cooker, man, to get the fucking job done.
A lot of people, I think they were just kind of part of this algorithmic bubble where they're only exposed to one thing. And when it came to the Muslim population, I think that the dehumanization was seen in the media across the board. And that brainwashing worked for a really long time. I mean, it definitely convinced Americans to support wars that we shouldn't have supported.
Going back to those presets when we're in our youth, 9/11.
Yep.
It was so raw. It was so scary. The way they made us stand up at 9/11 every day, the time in school.
I
Moment
remember
of
that.
silence for what the Muslims did to us. Think about, like, that's kind of, so I was just like, Muslims, like, this is just how they.
Y'all talking about let you do the greens and shit there. And then, man, I didn't buy this Ninja 12-in-1 for nothing. The fuck I got a pressure cooker for? Man, hell no. Y'all not about to make me sound crazy, man. Hey, this Ninja 12, I didn't buy this shit to look at, man. I'm trying to use all the functions and features. Y'all see, y'all buy them 12-in-1s and only use 1 or 2 of the damn feet, and hell no. Hell no. What the fuck I got a Ninja for?
They live. This is what they do, and didn't register to me as Islamophobia. I just thought, I'm educated. It's a token of your education to understand how despicable Muslims are.
I remember that. I remember that so well. I remember the unfair attacks against Muslims. By the way, I mean, there are different Muslim beliefs, like sects and whatever, but everything was just lumped together.
Why not the greens? Why not the greens? You act like this ham hock. This is a pressure cooker. Do you know what that pressure cooker finna do to that ham hock? Do you know what that pressure cooker finna do to them little red chili flakes and shit, man? Do you know what this pressure cooker is finna? See, y'all underestimating the pressure cooker. I challenge y'all to put them greens in that fucking pressure cooker and come debate me afterwards. Because I don't think you've tried. I don't think you've tried. Put that ham hock in them fucking greens, man, with that pressure cooker, man, and come back and talk to me later. Yeah.
Muslims bad, and this is going to be used as a justification for us to enrich defense contractors. They profit off war. Right now, you know, there's a town in Alabama where they make rockets and military weaponry, and it's booming all of a sudden because of the war against Iran. And it's funny listening to an interview of like one of the workers there, because they're able to like compartmentalize the economic boom they're experiencing from what it's feeding into. And so when you think about how people's livelihoods get wrapped up into questions of peace and war, when you consider the fact that our media apparatus, especially when it comes to legacy media or corporate media, is very much part of the propaganda campaigns to, in my opinion, just trick Americans into supporting things that actually work against their own interests.
Hold on. Now, Ms. Bones, what am I putting condenser milk in the pressure cooker for? What does that make? That sounds like a dessert. You know, I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't know, man. What does the condensed milk do in the pressure cooker? What the hell is that? That should sound like it might make flan or something. I don't know. The hell is that?
All that stuff started to kind of get chipped away at by independent media and people being willing to honestly critique their own side. There aren't a lot of people in the media who are willing to do that, just a handful that I can think of, but I think that woke a lot of people up. I really did. I really do think it did.
And the whiplash of, Tucker Carlson was fine for Fox News and CNN and everything. And then all of a sudden, no, Tucker Carlson, very, very bad.
That's what I'm saying. You said there's some pudding in y'all talking about condensed milk. Listen, when white folks get to talking about desserts and shit, I listen. Hey, when they get to talking about bacon or bacon cookies and different desserts and shit, man, and I listen. So what is this condensed milk in the pressure cooker shit? Is that a flan? Kids like it with waffles. What is it? What is it?
You can't listen. And we're starting to notice this pattern that it's the same issue that suddenly gets these people who are welcomed, loved by the mainstream, adored by the mainstream, and then suddenly thrust to the side and having not just their livelihoods impacted, but also our families. I was watching this attack on your husband, like my husband's being attacked, your husband's being attacked.
Yep.
And by the way, kudos for you for just coming back. Thank you. Yes, it is my husband. He's hot. I'm glad you found him.
I mean,
right? He's hot. Thank you. But what actually sits at the center of that? Let's now try to get and harass Ana Kasparian's husband. Why do you think that became now their prime motivator?
Well,
see, you're not giving me enough direction, Ms. Bones. You just saying put condensed milk in the pressure. I need to know the name of the dish so I can look it up and see what the fuck I'm working with. Like, you're not telling me how long to leave it in there. Do I cut it with a little bit of water? Like, you're not giving me. You're saying put condensed milk in the pressure. That sounds dangerous. I need to know what I'm getting into.
Because I don't want to say I'm unbreakable, but I am kind of unbreakable. Like, I'm the kind of person who does not respond well to others telling me what I can and can't think or what I can and can't say. So I might fall prey to brainwashing and propaganda. We're all susceptible to that. However, when you're straight up telling me you're not allowed to think that, you're not allowed to say that, I just get very irritable and I double down. It's like not the way to persuade me to think otherwise, right? And so, I mean, they've done some damage to me financially. I got fired from a job that I really, like a side job where I was doing investigative reporting on California-based stories, because there's a lot going down in California that I think people need to be aware about to make smarter decisions when they vote.
Condensed milk is caramel. Where the fuck is it gonna get the flavor from? Hold on, man. Hold on, bro. I don't know, bro. That's what I'm saying, bro.
So even though that was one of the more difficult jobs, like I was writing features, like 2,000 word pieces that were like original reporting. It was hard. It was very time consuming, but I loved that job so much. They took it from me. I guess there was one board member at the company.
Bro, so where is the caramel flavoring coming from? So if I go buy a can of condensed milk, the shit and y'all want me to drop it in the pot, the pressure cooker, I'm finna cook up with some condensed milk and I'm gonna get some caramel. No flavoring, no food coloring. This shit's just gonna whip up into some caramel. Y'all lying. Y'all missing a step, bro. Y'all skipping a step, bro. You need to use that Nestle. See, I knew I needed something, bro. Y'all skipping a step, bro. I'm not just finna drop this condensed milk in the pot and I'm gonna come out with some fucking caramel, man. I'm finna hit the block.